Still, they're very much alive in the playoff scramble. They'll need some big plays today. The man they look for is wide receiver Anthony Carter. He leads the NFL by averaging over 24 yards per catch. Detroit coach Darryl Rogers has received a vote of confidence from owner William Clay Ford, but the Lions have spent most of this season sleeping on the field. Last week, they were aroused at Tampa Bay. And quarterback Chuck Long continues to establish himself as one of the NFL's rising stars. A must game for Minnesota, a character test for Detroit. The NFC wildcard position at stake in Detroit. Good afternoon and happy holidays, everyone. These Minnesota Vikings trying to win their 8th game of the year. It's been tough to come by, and today they play Detroit here in the Silverdome in Pontiac. They still have their destiny in their hands with a record of 7-6. They must win these last 2 games today and then next Saturday against the Washington Redskins back in Minnesota. Good afternoon. I'm Jack Buck, and a pleasure to work with Will McDonough of the NFL Today and the Boston Globe. Will, this season has been a shambles for the Lions, but they can have some fun today.
Well, that's what Chuck Long, their quarterback, told us yesterday, Jack. He said, listen, we've played all year. We haven't beaten a team with a winning record. This is our chance to do so. But the Lions realize what they have to do is play better defense. They've only won 3 games this year, and all 3 of those games, they held the opponent under 20 points. They got to do that here today. Minnesota has a different problem. Last week, they lost to Green Bay, and their coach, Jerry Burns, said it was the first time since he has coached here in 2 years that they were out-hit. The players picked up on this. They had their own meeting Tuesday night, and they decided if we want to make the playoffs, we have to out-hit Detroit when we play them.
We'll get a look at their offense first. Neil Guggemos is back to receive the kick. And for the home team, Eddie Murray will kick it off. You never know when one of these teams are going to jump up and bite you. The Detroit Lions, with a record of 3-10, could prove tough today. Guggemos is flanked by Leo Lewis and Darren Nelson back there. He won't run this one back. It'll come out to the 20-yard line. Guggemos is as smart as I thought he was. It comes out to the 20, and there is Wade Wilson. He's getting better and better and starting today with Kramer out of action with a pinched nerve in his neck. And this is the defense he will be facing. A front line of Williams, Jerry Ball, and Keith Ferguson. 2 good outside linebackers for Detroit, Jimmy Williams and Michael Colford, with Robinson and the rookie Gibson inside. This secondary is suspect with Watkins, McNorton, Griffey, and Cherry. They've been whipped around all year long. Let's see what happens on first down. And a pass play. That's what the Vikings said they were going to do, and it's wide open, but overthrown to Anthony Carter. Anthony Carter was in the right spot, and you knew that he went to the right spot, but Wade Wilson's pass was overthrown. Darren Nelson, Alfred Anderson in the backfield with him, Anthony Carter and Leo Lewis, the wide receivers. Lewis always plays well against Detroit. Offensive line is Zimmerman, Huffman, Loudermilk, Koch, Irwin, and the tight end is Steve Jordan, and it's 2nd and 10. Alan Rice checks into the backfield now for the Vikes, along with Darren Nelson. Not much of a pass rush. This one's overthrown and broken up and almost picked off. He tried to get it to Steve Jordan, the tight end. And it's going to be 3rd and 10. And Raphael Cherry was there and almost nailed that ball.
Well, Wilson told us in the hotel last night he was coming out throwing. He said, we want to throw more.
He's too strong.
We haven't been aggressive enough. He says, that's been our problem the last 2 weeks we lost. Offensively, we haven't gone anybody against anybody, at anybody, and we've been too conservative. This game, we're going to come out throwing and keep on throwing.
The 3rd wide receiver, who's Hassan Jones, is in there for the Vikings. 3rd and 10 from the 20. Play a little game, and they chase him out of the pocket. The flag goes down, and Wilson gets a first down, but I think it'll be holding, and they'll call it back. Gary Zimmerman probably was on the hold. At number 65, he was blocking. That was a 3rd and 10 play, and a 23-yard run by Wilson. Take her back. The referee is Dick Hantack. Well, Will, determining that you're going to throw is one thing, and throwing well is another.
Holding, offense, number 76, 10-yard penalty, repeat the down, 3rd down.
Well, they got the other tackle, Tim Irwin, and it is going to be 3rd down and 20.
Well, what happens, Jack, is when they know you're going to throw, when you're in a 3rd down situation when you have to throw, then the Minnesota offensive line is in trouble. Okay, because I think they're 5th in the league at giving up sacks. As long as you're on 1st and 2nd down and you can have a little bit of play action, they do pretty well. They're a finesse offensive line rather than a physical offensive line. So in 3rd and long, they have a tough time pass protecting.
They have allowed 46 sacks this year. Drops it off short to Rice, and that's not a 1st down, so the Vikings will punt. We're going to get a look at the Detroit offense. Rice caught the ball, and that gives a little more punting room for the new kicker, relatively new kicker, Bucky Scribner. He came in during the strike period after being dropped by Green Bay. He did no kicking, so he should be fresh, and he did a pretty good job last week. Here is a tough return man, Manley. Pete Manley has averaged more than 12 yards per punt return. Sam Anno snaps the ball, and the left-footed kicker drives it away. Not too good. Manley from the 40. And good coverage and a very good tackle at the 45. A 37-yard punt, a 5-yard return. Here comes Chuck Long. Joey Browner again downfield to make the tackle. A lot of people like Long, and they think he's going to be one of the very best with a little more experience under his belt. 4-man front of Doug Martin, Henry Thomas, Keith Millard is back, and Chris Dolman, who has all of those sacks. And David Howard, Scott Studwell, and Jesse Solomon are the linebackers. Isaac Holt back at the left corner spot with Carl Lee, Joey Browner, and Harris. Misdirection play, and Jones running with the ball, and Studwell was up to help out with the tackle, and no gains, 2nd and 10. Here's the offensive unit of the Lions. In addition to Chuck Long, James Jones, and Gary James. Pete Manley and the rookie Gary Lee are the wide receivers. Offensive line, Lomas Brown, he's playing though he's hurt. Kevin Glover, Steve Mott, Joe Malinchek, and Harvey Salem. Malinchek is in there in place of Keith Dorney, so they lost one of the best in the league for this game.
Yeah, Dorney needs a knee operation, Jack. He's been one of their best offensive linemen for the last 7 or 8 years, and they really miss him.
Gary James is off on a wing and a pass play, and hit as he throws. It's caught. And James, who was off on the wing, caught the ball and a big gain, 9 yards apparently. 3rd and 1 coming up with Joey Browner covering, a 9-yard pickup.
Chuck Long said yesterday when we spoke to him that it's very important for the Lions to get off quick. When they get off quick and stay in their game plan, that's when they are effective. And all the stats show that, Jack. I mean, this year, when they've been behind going into the 4th quarter, they've lost every game. When they've been ahead going into the 4th quarter, they've won the game. So they're the type of team that has to get in front and make the most of what they do best, which is a play-action pass.
3 tight ends, Rob Rubick, Vito Cabb, and Mark Lewis. And James has a 1st down. And a haul down by John Harris. That's the first down of the day, a 9-yard pickup.
Here's Long handing to James. He almost busts it here. He's got a good block from Glover. See him 53 pulling. Watch the double team. Watch James Jones 30 come in to help out. Now he breaks it, and he almost gets through there. One more man, and he's going to be gone, but Joey Browner comes over to help out and make the stop, Jack.
These Vikings don't want to fall behind and get this crowd, even though it's rather small, into the game.
It is very small for Detroit. I think there's only about 30,000, Jack, 80,000 seat stadium.
From the 37-yard line, looked like the Vikings were offside. Running with the ball is James. He got 2. Jack Petty, the head linesman, threw the flag. Offside Vikings coming up. That'll make it 1st and 5 if I'm correct. We played the first 3.5 minutes. 1st and 5 coming up.
Offside, defense, number 79, 5-yard penalty, repeat the down, First down.
Doug Martin got offside before the snap of the ball. There's Jerry Burns. He had a good streak going for a while, but now they won 5 in a row, and now the Vikings have lost their last 2 to Chicago, and then 16-10 last week to Green Bay. The Lions are going to start feeling their oats here in a minute if they keep getting things done. Here's a little option pass by Jones, wide open, and now it's covered.
Joey Browner.
Look at that player. Browner should have stayed in the end zone, but he gets back to the 20, and a flag goes down. Jones simply threw the ball up there and yelled, "Jump ball, who wants it?"
Jack, you're right. He was wide open. If Jones had thrown the ball faster, got rid of it earlier, it would have been a touchdown. But he allowed Joey Browner, who was playing free safety, the time to get back, recover, and make the play.
And here's a new rule this year. A block below the knees on a change of possession. And Dick Hantag will tell us about it.
Low block on return, number 30. We will penalize half the distance. Will be a first down. Minnesota.
Scott Barrows, another offensive lineman, is down for Detroit. They can't afford to lose many more on that offensive line.
Take a look at Joey Browner at the top of your screen in the circle, one of the best safety men in the business. Watch the way he reacts now. He starts to drop back. Here's the little pitch from long backwards, so it's really a lateral. James Jones got it, but see, he takes too much time to try to float it out to Lee. Lee is clear, but Joey Brown has recovered, got him deep, makes a great catch. Now he could have stayed in the end zone, but he decides to come out because Joey Brown is a guy that could take it 101, Jack.
And the penalty against Isaac Holt set the ball back to the 10-yard line. Nelson lines up in the backfield and turns it upfield for a first down. And he is across the 20-yard line. That's the first down for the Vikings. Darren Nelson back to work, a 12-yard gain.
Well, he's one of the only 2 running backs in the league averaging 5 yards a rush this year, Jack, and he's very dangerous. He's strictly an AstroTurf player. Minnesota is more of an AstroTurf team than anything else because of their quickness and speed. He's great because if you just hand it to him or throw it to him, even in the backfield, he can make yardage for you.
He is joined now by Alfred Anderson in the backfield. 1st and 10 from the 23. Leo Lewis in motion. Nelson left, looking for a place to turn up, and barely got back to the line of scrimmage. Michael Koper tackled him, number 55, and Koper is a dandy. He's a big one, plays at weak side linebacker, 6'5", 245, and he is to be reckoned with when you play Detroit.
He's their active linebacker. He's the guy they like to rush, get to the passer, so their version of Lawrence Taylor, although he's not in that class, but he is very, very good.
No gain, and Wilson probably will put it up again. Leo Lewis to the right. Anthony Carter to the left. Jordan, the tight end, on the right side. Nelson in motion. A delay to Rice. Nothing doing. They're making the stop. Was the linebacker, Jameson. George Jameson.
Well, Wilson said last night they were going to do little things like this to try to keep Detroit off balance. There's a draw play, but it never has a chance to materialize because the Lions simply reacted. It wasn't a very good fake, Jack. Right off from the start, Wilson did not make a good fake or make it look like it was going to be a pass.
A loss of 1, 3rd and 11. The extra wide receiver is Hassan Jones. And they should have snapped the ball when Minnesota's Koper was offside. Wilson on the run, and he'll not get a first down. Out of bounds, and the Vikes will have to punt again. So they're 0 for 2 on possessions. Keith Ferguson chased him out of bounds, number 77. We have 8:46 left in the first quarter. No score. Tommy Kramer alongside Manley, a tough punt return man, back inside his 35. Bucky Scribner, left-footed kicker. It's a little different for the receiver with the spiral of the ball against a left-footed kicker. Big rush. Nice kick. Fair catch. And a tough catch at the 30-yard line for Detroit. 44-yard punt by Scribner and no return. He's kicking in place of Greg Coleman. No score here. 8:38 left in the first quarter, no score. Scott Barrows, the left guard, is not on the field, and Kevin Glover is at the left guard position, and Barrows has a strained knee. We don't know whether or not he'll come back. So it's a makeshift offensive line. And Lomas Brown, number 75 right there, starting at left tackle. He's hurting with a bad ankle. James and Jones in the backfield. Manley in motion. James. And a big run for Detroit. Kevin Glover, number 53, got out in front and led that 16-yard run with John Harris making the tackle.
This is very interesting because Detroit has not had a game this year where one of its running backs has rushed for 100 yards. They might be the only team in the league like that. Conversely, Minnesota hasn't allowed anybody to run for 100 yards. They're usually very, very good against the run, but so far, the Lions have run the ball surprisingly well, which might be a bad omen for the Vikings.
It's not very often they have had both Gary James and James Jones in the backfield as they do now. They're both very big. There was good pursuit and good tackling that time. Jesse Solomon trailed the play. Cincinnati's doing something against New Orleans. Let's go to New York and Brent Musburger.
Jack, they certainly did. They scored the first touchdown against the Saints. Maybe this will be the day the Bengals put it all together. Esiason throws the ball, deflected. Eddie Brown's there. And it's 7-0 Bengals. Back to Jack and Will.
That makes Bill Walsh happy, Jack.
Okay, Brent. Yeah, Bill Walsh will be happy about that because New Orleans is hot on the trail of the 49ers. A loss of 1 on the last play, 2nd and 11 Lions, with both Lee and Manley to the right. Screen pass dropped. Was it a forward pass? Yes, it was. So it's incomplete, and it's 3rd down. You can see the referee looking at the head linesman saying, was that a forward or a lateral? Other scores, Pittsburgh ahead at Houston 3-0 in the first quarter in a very important game. And Philadelphia leading at the Jets in the first quarter. Anthony Toney put the Eagles out in front. Gary Anderson's field goal put Pittsburgh out in front.
Jack, they call that a lateral rather than a forward pass.
Oh, yes?
And now they're going to have a review, I think, of the replay. Here it is right here.
Fritz Graff is the replay official here at Detroit. I kind of thought it was a forward pass. That's just
I did. You made the call, and that's what I thought. But as soon as the play was made, Hantak, the referee behind the quarterback. Yeah, you're right.
It was an incomplete pass, and Fritz Graff, who's a father of 10, made the call here today. He's the replay official.
Maybe they need the money. But as soon as the play was made, the official, the referee behind the quarterback, Hantak, looked over to Jack Fetty. To his left, the line judge, and Fetty is the guy who gave the signal for the catch. You know, and saying it was a lateral, and therefore it should be a loss, but now they've overruled it by replay.
Butch Woolfolk is in the lineup for Detroit, 3rd and 11. Right over the middle and picked off by Harris. 2nd turnover for Detroit. Look how smart Harris is. He knows he's not a running back. He's got the ball. He's happy. He runs out of bounds, and the fans say, boo, boo, boo.
Well, there's a reason that Harris is among the tops in the league right now. Active players and interception. He just sits here in center field. Now watch him step in front of Manley, the receiver. They know that Long likes to throw to Manley. Manley's had 2 great games back-to-back. Harris takes it out of bounds.
That's his 3rd of the year and the 47th of his wonderful career. And it puts the ball at the 39 of Detroit. Sideline pass caught by Carter. He was tough, put his head down, got what he could, and very close to a 1st down with Bobby Watkins, the cornerback, shoving him out a 9-yard gain. Carter's 35th reception of the year.
Well, that's chicken feed for him to get 9 yards and a catch, Jack. Look what he's done. This year, I think he's averaging 24-4 going into this game, which is phenomenal. Anytime a receiver averages more than 20 yards and a catch, he's having a Pro Bowl year, and this guy leads the league in yards per catch.
2 tight ends, including Malarkey, Rice in the backfield, 2nd and 1, and not Rice, Anderson. And though he got very little, it appeared he got a 1st down. 2-yard gain, 1st down. 6 minutes left in the scoreless first quarter.
Well, the reason you see all these changing offensive backs for Minnesota is, unlike most teams in the league, they do not signal the plays in. They send them in from Bob Snelka, the offensive coordinator, with a running back. Nelson stays in the game. He's their big back, and they rotate the other back with him to bring in the plays.
Anderson's in there now with Nelson from the 29. Whoa, and boy, Wilson is throwing high, hard, and away today. It's not a very good start for Wade, who had completed 52% of his passes prior to this afternoon. 13 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, sacked 20 times, 2nd and 10. Takes these quarterbacks a while to get into the rhythm of things.
These two teams played each other the first game of the season in Minnesota, and Wilson had this kind of a first half. Detroit led 16-3, but then in the second half, on the way back to winning 34-19, Wilson had a terrific second half and brought them back.
Ricky Smith, the extra defensive back for Detroit, the running play to Nelson, and Jamison with another tackle. I don't want to be unkind to number 95, Jamison. Sometimes a fella's pass rush is so poor that he runs into a lot of those plays.
Here you go, Wilson. This is a quick trap, but nobody blocks Jamison. 95. That's a mental error by somebody in the Minnesota offensive line. Jamison gets a clean shot in there. Jack, what I think has happened early part of the game is Detroit is playing more aggressive, bringing everybody up in the line of scrimmage, and Minnesota didn't expect this.
3rd down and 11. Rice is in the lineup for the Vikes. Good throw, and Lewis dropped it. Leo Lewis, the ball was up high once again. Leo's a little guy at 5'8", and Ricky Smith just into the game whacked him and made him cough it up, and it's 4th down. Good play by Ricky Smith. Nice timing. And this is going to be a long field goal try by Chuck Nelson, whose longest of the year is 51 yards. Bucky Scribner will hold it. He's a left-handed holder, by the way. And Chris Foote will snap the ball. It'll be a 47-yard try. That's within his range. He was really pumping it during the pregame practice. 4:47 left in the scoreless first quarter. High snap. Scribner got it down. And it is no good. Looked like it was going to start to come back, but it missed. 47-yard miss by Chuck Nelson. He has missed 9 out of his last 16.
Chuck Long's the guy that got to do him for him right now, Jack. He's got to show something. He said yesterday he wanted to be in this position where he could score some points. He's had good field position, but he really hasn't been able to do anything with it, even though the Lions have run the ball fairly well.
From the 29, Jones up front, James the tailback. And he's good for only a couple with James Jones leading the blocking. Scott Studwell was in the middle of that tackle and a 3-yard gain. We have a couple of other scores for you. New Orleans gets a field goal from Morton Anderson. They're on the board, trailing 7-3 at Cincinnati. New England ahead of Buffalo in Buffalo, 7-0. First quarter. Never know what's going to happen at this stage of the season.
In that rivalry, New England has won 10 straight games against Buffalo. So it's very hard to make Buffalo the favorite, I thought, under those circumstances, but that's the way it's been.
2nd and 7. Pretty good faking by Long, and then the pass is caught by Manley. This Manley is one of the bright spots in the Detroit season. He had caught 50 prior to today. 6 touchdowns. He averages more than 12 yards per catch.
Jerry Burns, the Viking coach, says Detroit play fakes, play action pass as well as anybody in the league because their offensive line does such a good job of faking the block. And here Manley comes outside. Long likes to throw the Manley, Jack, because he says of all the receivers Detroit has, he feels the most comfortable with him.
Carl Lee was covering on the play. The ball is at the 42 of Detroit, first down. They're really stacking it up against the run. That was a good fake. We were just talking about you, Mr. Manley, and look what you did. Ball went right through his hands, and he was wide open. Good faking by Long and by the running back.
Yeah, it set the whole thing up. He's going to come across the formation in motion. Minnesota doesn't react. He delays a little bit. Now he comes. Nobody picks him up. Another mental error. Long lays it out there, but he seems to run under the ball the wrong way. You know, he never adjusted, Jack, to the flight of the ball. Here he is at the end of it. Instead of jumping up and turning his body around and getting in position to catch the ball, looking back towards the line of scrimmage, maybe he was thinking, I got a touchdown here if I catch it on the run, and he misses the ball completely.
They showed a replay of it here on the video board, and the fans let him have it. It's 2nd and 10. Oh, that's a 3rd interception. The 2nd by Joey Browner. The 3rd interception. Well, Minnesota didn't take advantage of the earlier turnovers. 1 to Browner, 1 to Harris. Now they'll try to cash in on this one.
Joey Browner sitting back playing center field. Minnesota takes its drop into the zone. Again, he tries to hit Manley. Somebody jumped in front of Long, Jack, just as he was throwing it. Made him throw it up in the air. Browner reacts to the situation. Shows you what a great athlete he is. Always trying to get everything out of a play that he can. That shows you the frustration of the offensive linemen when they give him a shot like that.
He has 5 interceptions now. 3 before today. The ball at the Detroit 38. Anderson and Nelson in the backfield. High again, and Carter couldn't get it. Boy, Wilson is really throwing high. If he were pitching a baseball game, he'd walk a lot of people today, I tell you.
He's got short receivers here, though. These 2 guys are 2 of the shortest in the league. I thought he should have caught that ball.
And turnovers today, the Vikings none, Detroit 3. Still were scoreless with 3:27 left in the first quarter.
When they played each other at the beginning of the year, it was the reverse. Wilson threw 3 interceptions in the first half, which is why Detroit was able to jump out in that game 16-3.
Wilson's getting good protection from Loudermilk and the others. Not this time. First sack of the day way back at the 48-yard line. Salamua came in and got him, number 97.
Like we said at the top of the game, when the Vikings get in certain passing situations, they don't pass protect that well. Keith Ferguson, 77, is going to apply the pressure from the hand. Wilson has to bring the ball down, and that's when Salamua come in and make the stop. But Ferguson, right there, 77, pressure from the outside, forced Wilson to step up so Salamua can make the play.
Well, the Vikings are sure missing some opportunities here early. They've intercepted 3 times and have no points. And this is 3rd and 20. So they get some of it back with the pass out here to Finney. And it'll be 3rd down and 9. Now that was 3rd down. So they're going to try another long field goal. Are they?
No, I think they're going to punt
the ball this time.
They were debating it on the sideline. I think I would have given him another shot at it. I mean, he had the distance.
It'd have been a long one. 37, 47 would have been 54 yards.
Yeah, maybe too much for him.
So Scribner will punt for the 3rd time. Sam Anno will snap the ball. And Manley will have to use a lot of discretion. He's standing back at the 10. Another disappointing drive for Minnesota. Good snap. Kind of a pooch kick. Which way will it bounce? Well, that was a good try in the end zone, but would have taken a gymnast for Ricky Smith. Not for Ricky Smith, but Guggemos to get the ball back onto the playing field. Come out to the 20. These Vikings are trying to look like a playoff team, but they haven't thus far, Will.
I know it. And they're going to have a heck of a shot here trying to get back, you know, in playing physical football. You know, their defense is reacting to it, but their offense hasn't done a thing.
Then they got lucky when Manley dropped that pass downfield, and they're fortunate that it's still scoreless here in the first quarter.
Yeah, because Detroit has the opportunities. Their game plan is right there. You know, they've had people open. They just haven't been able to execute it and get them the ball.
And the rookie Gary Lee comes to the left, and Pete Manley is to the right. Manley goes in motion, and a fumble. Is that another turnover, or did Detroit get it back? Detroit got it back. Meanwhile, at Cincinnati, New Orleans has their hands full. Boomer Esiason is burning the Saints with 2 touchdown passes. One for 10 yards and one for 1 yard.
Well, that's going to make San Francisco happy. Bill Walsh told me, I talked to him on the phone 2 nights ago, he did not want to play Joe Montana or have to play him before the year was over. Now, if Cincinnati beats New Orleans, San Francisco would wrap it up, and they could keep Montana on the sidelines until they get into the playoffs.
2nd down and 9. And a reverse to Gary James. There's Browner, slowed him down. And a gain out to the 25, 3rd and 5. What would these Vikings do without Joey Browner? Not only the things you see here when he plays that safety spot, but he's on kickoff returns and punt returns. They just wear this guy down to a nub.
Well, he's a guy that got a nose for the ball. There he was, right up, even though it was a misdirection play, which would fool most safeties. They'd go with the flow. He'd come up and make the stop right on the line of scrimmage.
It is 3rd down and 7. In the shotgun is Long. Guggemos is Vikings. Big rush, but they keep him out. Home run ball. And caught. The rookie, Gary Lee. The coverage was there. But Lee caught a 50-yard pass.
Long shows you what he can do in this one. He's back in the shotgun, comes back, has some good time, but watch the pressure. He unloads it just in time. Now he throws it out there. The coverage is right there. Isaac Holt is with Lee, but it's a perfectly thrown ball, and Holt does a nice job adjusting to the ball, which Manley didn't do the last time they had the ball. Holt adjusted, Lee adjusted this time. Manley didn't. That's the longest pass of Chuck Long's career in pro football.
Taking the ball to the Minnesota 25. 34 seconds left in the first quarter. Here's Gary James. And a big run. It was turned back in by David Howard, but the help wasn't there right away, and that probably will be the last play of the first quarter. Good block by James Jones out in front of Gary James on Howard, but Howard slowed it down, and a pickup of 8 yards. So the Lions won't run another play until the start of the second quarter, and they are knocking at the door. Vikings have failed to cash in on 3 turnovers. A very disappointing first quarter for the visiting Minnesota team. Well, neither quarterback is red hot here in this game. Chuck Long, 3 out of 7. He has the ball. And Wilson is 3 out of 8. And Long's had 3 picked off.
Long's had 2, and I think James Jones threw the option pass,
right.
But Detroit has had 3 picked off. And they can't afford another one right now. They got to put it in the end zone this time.
2nd down and 2. Did not get the first down. They give him forward progress near the 16, and David Howard finally caught up with the play. The last 4 possessions for Detroit. Here's what they've had happen. Interception, interception, another, and they're still alive on this drive, and it's 3rd and 1 at the 16 of Minnesota. Long's a big guy. We see him sneak the ball quite often at 6'4", 211. 3 tight ends. James is stuffed right at the line of scrimmage. This will be a case of forward progress. They had Rubik, Cab, and Lewis in there, 3 tight ends, and there was good stout defense by the Vikings. Whether they prevented the first down, we'll have to wait and see. Figured that somebody would be slow getting up after that hit by Browner and Studwell.
It's a very slow developing play, Jack. You know, he had a play fake to the up back Jones, and then you hand it off to James. It was just too slow in a short yardage situation. It gave Minnesota the chance to fill all the holes.
Detroit's in a spot here where they can gamble, do whatever they want, no matter if they get a first down or not, which they did not. It's 4th and 1. They're going to take the almost sure 3 points. The fans want him to go for it.
Watch how long this takes, Jack, and watch Joey Brown, the left side of the screen, 47, come in and stuff the hole. See, he's able to step up along with Scott Studwell, both of them, because it took a good 2 or 3 seconds almost for the back to get to the line of scrimmage.
They're going to pass up the field goal. Darrell Rogers, with his team owning a 3-10 record, said, what the heck, let's go for it. On 4th down this year, they're 3 out of 10. Chris Martin comes in defensively for the Vikings. What's the call? This will be very interesting. 2 big bats with Jones and James. James.
Touchdown.
Touchdown. No. Fumble. Minnesota gets the turnover. Holy smokes. Would you believe that? Would you believe that? It was Henry Thomas, the rookie, getting the ball in the end zone for a touchback.
This is Detroit's year right here. Listen, they get a chance to bounce outside. He makes a great move, takes it outside. James looks like he's gone. Watch Holt, number 30, come over. I thought he should have outran him to the corner. No, he decides to cut back. Now watch Solomon strip the ball from behind. Watch Henry Thomas, their nose tackle, still hustling downfield, make the recovery.
Henry Thomas gets it in the end zone. That's the 4th turnover given to the Vikings today. Still, we're scoreless.
There's Jones just turning the corner, but notice he got the ball in his right arm, the wrong one. You should always have it in the left arm going left. Now he hasn't got anything to straight arm Holt with, so he's got to try to cut back. When he does, he sticks the ball out. See it? Watch Solomon, 54, come from behind, reach in, and pull it away from him. Jack, if he held it in the outside, had it in his left hand running left, he could have straight armed and run right in the corner of the end zone.
That's why we both said touchdown in the early going. The ball at the 20. Leo Lewis in motion. And rushing with the ball is Dozier. He gets a couple. Here's what's transpired thus far in this game. There was a 4-yard gain and a little altercation and no flags. Detroit 4 turnovers. Chuck Nelson missed a field goal. Detroit's piling up no yards, but we've got 2 goose eggs on the board. Minnesota's using Greg Koch, at the right guard spot, and David Huffman at the left tackle spot. And they're into the second quarter. Seattle and the Bears are still scoreless. Pittsburgh's ahead, and Cincinnati is pounding New Orleans. On target that time, and a first down to Steve Jordan. And Wilson finally got the ball down where Jordan could handle it.
Jordan's been a Pro Bowl player, Jack, but he has not had a Pro Bowl type of year. But even still, he alone has more catches than all the Detroit tight ends put together.
That was his 29th. Well, he's caught 2 today, so that's his 30th of the year.
Yeah, collectively, I believe the Detroit tight ends have 23 coming into today's game.
First down at their own 38. Nelson and Penny in the backfield. Good block. And a substantial gain for the Vikes. Nelson didn't need many more blocks to break that one. A 6-yard pickup.
Watch Detroit. Watch the way they bang up on the line of scrimmage. Now, this is a little bit of a surprise to Minnesota, I think, because they said Detroit's defense, when we talked to them last night, plays soft. They play back a little bit. Not today, and I think that is the thing that has bothered the Minnesota offense, and Wilson in particular. He's not seeing the kind of defense he thought he would see, and here he walks away from center again.
Timeout called by the Vikings with 11:40 left in the half and no score. Detroit has lost their inside linebacker, Shelton Robinson. I wonder, Will McDonough, if we get a shot at the inside of Jerry Burns' belly as well as his face. Man, I bet it's churning.
I think his face shows what his belly's like, because it's on fire right now. He publicly questioned how tough this team was and whether it was good enough to go to the playoffs this year, and I bet that's the way he feels right now. He still has some skepticism.
2nd and 4. Detroit has the Vikings a little messed up with the defense they're playing. Here comes Dozier with a first down run. So DJ, the rookie out of Penn State, gives Minnesota another first down, and this might be the start of a worthwhile drive. Good blocking with Zimmerman and others.
Jack, do you think that now they've got Dozier in there and Nelson out of, they're going to try to run the ball in view of the fact that they haven't been able to throw it that well either? Here's Dozier coming off. Good drive blocking out in front of him. You know, he's a stronger back than Nelson. Gets a more physical game, so maybe that's why they're coming with him.
Good block by the rookie Rick Finney. From the 46, a fake draw, screen pass, and falling down was Finney. And a loss of 3 yards, 4 yards on that play. Finney got his feet all tangled up. I was about to comment that Wilson gave it to him nice and quick, but he got his feet tangled. And New England still hanging on to their lead in the second quarter at Buffalo. Philadelphia by 7 over the Jets at New York. Ball smack at midfield, 2nd and 14. Extra back is Dwayne Galloway for Detroit. Danny Lockett playing the inside linebacker spot with Robinson out. That's a fumble. That's a fumble. But it belongs to Minnesota. Zimmerman picked it up. The ball went plumb backwards. So a big loss, and that interrupts that drive. That was a 2nd down play. It's 3rd and long.
I'd like to take a look at that one again. Here it is from ground level. Wilson's back. He's having trouble reading what Detroit is doing downfield in defense. He's got the time. Brings the ball down. Here he comes from behind. Hit. Is the arm coming forward? Now, was the arm coming forward with the ball when he got hit? You know, as long as the arm's coming forward, it's supposed to be an incompletion rather than a fumble.
But the ball's got to go forward.
No, I don't think so.
Yes,
I think if the arm, what if the arm comes forward and you get hit and it goes backwards?
And it's a fumble. 3rd down and 30. Third and 30. 4-man rush and a draw play. And Rice gets only a few, and the Vikings will have to punt. That was a 6-yard gain. 9.5 minutes left in the half. Dwayne Galloway made that tackle. Can't say very many good things about the Minnesota offense.
But you could say great things about the Detroit defense. Considering the opposition, this might be as good as they've played all year, because the Vikings have a lot of weapons and they respect the Vikings.
This is the 4th punt for Bucky Scribner. Pete Manley at his 20. Another good kick.
Beauty.
Manley at the 17. And knocked down at about the 22. A 47-yard punt. A 9-yard return. The tackle by Ray Berry.
In Central and Mountain.
Well, Merry Christmas, everyone. Christmas Day on CBS Sports starts live at 12 o'clock noon Eastern Time. And we're going to have some NBA action for you. Now, Chuck Long tries to get his club moving from the 21. With Jones in the backfield. Sliding left for a couple of yards. As you enjoy Christmas Day, the Detroit Pistons at New York in the traditional game, and Detroit has the best record in the NBA at the moment. Starts at 12 noon Eastern, and following that, John Hancock Sun Bowl, West Virginia against Oklahoma State. That'll be at 2:30 Eastern on Christmas Day. 2nd and 8. James and Jones. Manley in motion and a draw play to James. He ran into Lomas Brown, got across the 25, 3rd down coming up. 5-yard pickup. Chris Martin, the tackler, and Lomas Brown couldn't clear the way for him. Brown does have a bad ankle. James has carried 10 times for 57 yards. We're scoreless in the second quarter. Lee comes to the right. Woolfolk checks into the backfield. Carl Bland, the 3rd wide receiver. Hello. Woolfolk was wide open and Long missed him. I mean, wide.
He was wide open, but he also stopped running, I think. And that's the worst thing you can do for a quarterback that's under a little bit of pressure trying to get a read on where you're going.
Keith Millard finally put some pressure on the quarterback. Jim Arnold. He leads the National Football League in net punting average. Sanders will snap the ball, and Leo Lewis is inside his 30. Arnold's been a great kicker, averaging more than 44 yards a kick. And it's hard to return them. He gets them up high. That's a pretty good one. The coverage isn't very good, though. From the 23, Lewis to the 30. And little Leo goes down at the 31. That was a 50-yard punt, an 8-yard return. 7:09 left in the half. The Vikings will try to move it again. Jerry Burns is from Detroit. He's not talking to many people over there. Floyd Peters tried to strike up a conversation with him. He just turned and walked away.
Yeah, well, I think he went over and said to Floyd, how come they're getting so many guys open today? That's 3 mental mistakes we've made in the secondary. That's what this guy thinks of it.
He's waiting for Santa Claus. The ball's at the 31. And it was incomplete to Carter, who tried to grab it with one hand. Brent Musburger in New York has some football news for us with an update.
Well, Jack, we've got the New York Jets battling back out of the shotgun, going in from the 10-yard line. This will be a 9-yard touchdown pass from O'Brien to Sohn. The tight end gets open for them. Now, there's also another development. The Seattle Seahawks have struck first against Chicago in Soldier Field. Craig to Turner, 7-0, back to Jack.
And Seattle is trying to win their 9th game of the year, and they're ahead at Chicago. This is 2nd and 10. You can't say many good things about Wade Wilson to this point. And high and away that time. Trying to get it out to Jones, and that was way over the head of Hassan Jones. Wade Wilson got the start with Tommy Kramer suffering from a pinched neck, and he's shaking his head. He's had some people open.
He's had them open. His timing's off today. Like you said, he seems to be a little wild high. Maybe he's pumped up because it is a big game, and he is starting today. He has been coming off the bench for Kramer. And Jerry Burns has said he feels that Wilson is better coming off the bench. I just think he's got to settle down a little bit. This is like the first game of the year against Detroit. He had a poor first half and then come out and had a great second half.
3 wide receivers, including Jones. Rick Fenny is in the lineup. He knew where he had to go for a first down, and he got it. Good run by Wilson. Chased out by Kofer at the 45. He was really lucky to jump out of that pocket and get a 13-yard gain.
Well, he made an excellent play as he came out of the pocket and ran to his right. You get Kofer chasing him, was very quick, a linebacker number 55, who was excellent foot speed coming after him, and he skips away from him, gets upfield, and makes the big first down. I mean, that was a heck of a play.
Minnesota 44. Wilson's rushing average was 5.8 prior to today, so running is not unusual for him. First down and a big run. Pretty good faking and a bootleg pass on target. And another first down to Leo Lewis. He got both feet in, and it's a first down. Well, Wilson's got to feel a little better about things. Got away from the pressure.
Watch the bootleg. Nice fake here now. Catches the linebacker inside, rolls outside, looks for Leo Lewis. A little bit of a zone here. Waits for him to get in the seam. Here's the throw. Lewis takes it, going to the sideline. Too close to it, can't do anything else, so he has to step out. But he has done another first down.
Raphael Cherry was there covering on the play also. 6:41 left in the half. Lewis usually does have good days against Detroit. You like that run by Dozier. He's down near the 30-yard line. And he got about 8. Dozier gives you a little quickness when he has the ball. You can see the difference.
Well, this is not a big team when you look at Minnesota offensively. You know, Carter and Lewis, their wide receivers, are both very small. And Darren Nelson might be the smallest running back in the league. So you need a little bigger guy. Dozier doesn't have tremendous size, but for a halfback, he is very good size. He's not a big fullback type. And he's the kind of guy that can make plays on his own. He can run through people where Darren Nelson doesn't run through people. He has to run around them.
2nd down and 2. Finney is the up back. Nelson, the tailback, gets a first down. And is knocked off of his feet. Takes us to 5:55 left in the half. A 3-yard gain, and Danny Lockett, number 50, made that tackle. Lockett is a rookie out of Arizona. He's playing inside with another rookie, Dennis Gibson of Detroit. They have 2 rookies playing in the middle, but they're both pretty good.
Gibson has been outstanding, Jack. He leads the Lions in tackles, and that's the first time in a long time in Detroit that a linebacker has led the team in tackles. Usually it's been a safety man.
Here's a reverse. Looks like it might go. There's the block. And it's pretty good to the 21-yard line by Dozier. The old Statue of Liberty play, and Vernon Maxwell was the Detroit tackler, a 6-yard gain.
First time they played each other this year, Detroit did that twice to Minnesota in the first half. The old Statue of Liberty play. It looks like Minnesota says, well, we're going to give you one back today.
Koch is playing the right guard. Huffman is playing the left tackle. Jordan, the tight end, is on the right side. Nelson up the middle. Huffman gave him a good block, and Huffman is a little shaken up. That was a 1-yard gain.
I think they were trying to surprise Detroit that time, Jack, with a quick inside trap. But Huffman, who was pulled out to make the block, didn't make the block. And that's why there was nothing there for Nelson.
It's at the Detroit 20. We've had some incredible happenings in this game with Detroit fumbling going into the end zone.
Especially no score. They've been moving the ball around, but nobody's put it in the end zone.
3rd down and 3. Try to get an offside. Here's a pass for a touchdown to Dozier. He slid out of there. Nobody covered it. For Wade Wilson, his 14th touchdown pass.
That's not the kid that was asleep, is it?
He just woke up.
We woke him up. Here it is. Watch the snap to Wilson. A little bit low, but Detroit is bringing everybody. But somebody forgets to pick up Dozier. There he is, 42, slipping out of the backfield. Turns around, makes the catch, still gets it to the end zone.
Detroit gambled, and it came up snake eyes as Dozier gets the TD. That's his 7th touchdown of the year. And Nelson will try the extra point. He's missed 1 this season. Makes it good. 7-0. Favor of the favored Vikings with 3:56 remaining in the half. Well, they finally get out in front. That was a 9-play drive. And Dozier gets the score. Well, Darryl Rogers here in Detroit has been on the hot seat with his record of 3 wins and 10 losses. He received a vote of confidence a while ago, but you know what that means sometimes.
That means nothing. I think he's going to know more after next Tuesday. There's a big meeting here in Detroit next Tuesday where Bill Ford, the owner, is getting together with his board of directors, his accountants, and everybody else. They say the Lions, for the first time in a long, long time, are going to lose money, maybe upwards of $5 million this year. And even though Bill Ford says a couple of weeks ago Darryl Rogers is going to be my coach next year, I wouldn't count on it. I just wouldn't count on it. You know, this is the worst year they've ever had here in attendance since they've been in the Dome. You know, in 1980, Jack, they averaged 80,000 people.
Yeah, you look around
game.
here, they can seat 80,000, and at one time they kept drawing 80,000 for every game. Today, they sold 40,000 tickets, and they expected 30,000 to be in attendance. So it has really dwindled here.
What a major drop-off in one year. Last year, they averaged 62,000 people a game, even though they're having a poor year. This year, it's going to be about 38,000 paid, and in-house, down around 30,000. So they have and that really hurts. You know, you don't get the people paying for parking, concessions, spending money. When you're the owner, you have to think about those things.
Here is Nelson kicking, and Minnesota wants to cover this one well. It comes out with Woolfolk. Almost broke loose. A flag goes down, and Woolfolk is at about the 27-yard line. We'll check the flag back up at the other end. Offside on the kicking team. Penny made the tackle, but I think Detroit will make him kick it over. Here's that last drive. 9 plays, 69 yards, 313. and Wilson's 20-yard pass to Dozier, but the big run.
Offside on the kicking team, number 57. We will penalize 5 yards and re-kick the ball.
Penalized 5 yards and booted again. The big play on the touchdown drive was the run by Wilson, wasn't it?
Perfect. You're exactly right. That was the play that got them going. They needed something. He makes an excellent play himself on his own, running away from a very fast linebacker, Kofa. Instead of having to give up the ball, he runs upfield and gets the first down. Then they start making plays after that. And finally, after so much frustration in the first half, get the lead 7-0.
They caught Detroit in a blitz. There goes Woolfolk back once again with Lee. Gary Lee. And here's the kicker, Chuck Nelson. Nelson has missed one today, and he's missed 9 out of 16 field goal tries most recently.
That is not very good when you do most of your kicking in a dome stadium. I mean, the people that kick in dome stadium, like Arnold, the punter here today, and these guys, you have a big advantage with no wind. You're never kicking into the wind all year long.
The Vikings headed into the season with Nelson and Coleman. They thought their kicking game was fine. Now Scribner in place of Coleman, and Nelson struggling. With regard to the Vikings and their playoff chances, that St. Louis game is later this afternoon, and the Rams don't play until tomorrow night. So the Vikings are on their own. All they have to do is win 2, and they're in. Gary Lee, the rookie, takes it on the 4. And Russell down at the 26-yard line. Here comes Chuck Long, his club trailing. Detroit didn't want to get behind. He told you that last night, didn't he?
That's right. See, when Detroit gets behind, they have to go into a passing mode. And Long will tell you, we're not strictly a passing team. We don't have the ability to just be a passing team. We have to mix it up, run a little bit. Now Minnesota with 3:33 left in the first half. Detroit has to take it, 75 yards. They're going to sit back and look for the pass, and they're not going to worry too much when he play fakes to James Jones, which they would if it was 0-0.
Gary James is split way out to the right in an unusual lineup. And Manley comes and then goes back in the other direction. Screen pass left, and there's only one defender there. Big play for Detroit. Carl Lee made the tackle on Manley. He gives a little zip to the team.
Well executed by Chuck Long that time. Does it very, very well for a guy that's only in the league the second year. Watch the fake. Now here he comes. Manley reverses, go back the other way. Nice play by Long. See the guys pulling out, make it look like it's a running play. He drops back. Manley gets in position, turns. Good block out here by Mott. Watch, 52. There he is, taking it to the outside. That leaves the gap for Manley to come upfield and get the first down.
And that was a pickup of 17 yards. And a first down at the 43.
Uncovered.
Wide open is James. Just outside the 10.
Now, we've been raving about Joey Browner the whole first half, but this was a mental mistake by Joey Browner. Watch the line of scrimmage. Here's Joey, the second guy in from your left. He steps up. He should be covering this man out of the backfield. He doesn't. This releases Gary James upfield. He's wide open. The linebacker, Solomon, doesn't get him either. He's got 5 yards and everybody. Got the ball in the right hand this time, Jack. Now he uses a straight arm to buy himself a few more yards before he gets out of bounds.
And that takes us to the 2-minute warning. Score 7-0 in favor of Minnesota. The ball just outside the 10-yard line. They could get a first down without getting a touchdown. Detroit knocking at the door. This game is rather hodgepodge, isn't it? You don't know where it's going.
Well, right now it's going where the Detroit offense takes it, because if they can win and score, that will give the Detroit defense a lot of hope for the second half. Detroit has played very well on defense here in the first half, so if their offense can finally do something, they'll go in and say, hey, we still got a chance to win this ball game.
We have 2 minutes left in the half. You wouldn't believe what Cincinnati is doing to New Orleans. The ball just outside the 10. James, who's having a big day. Got to the 5. He picked up almost 6 yards on that play before John Harris tackled him. Look what Cincinnati is doing to New Orleans.
You know, you think that will save Sam Weiss' job? You know, everybody in the league, I think, among the coaches and general manager, feels right now that Sam Weiss, the coach of the Bengals, is gone because of the poor season.
Now look, they turn around and do this.
Turn around and do this, but a lot of people feel that the Browns family, which owns the Bengals, has already made the commitment in their own minds to have a new coach next year.
Kennebrew got the last touchdown for Cincinnati. Here, trying to tie it up. This receiver fell down. Manley lost a step in the end zone, covered by Carl Lee. And Minnesota would like to make Detroit settle for a field goal try. It is 3rd down and a long 3 at the 4. They could still make a 1st down without getting a touchdown. 1:16 left in the half.
Sorry, Jack. Chuck Long hasn't any luck in this half. You know, we see one of his receivers at Manley at the beginning of the game turned the wrong way on a catch that he should have made. Butch Woolfolk stopped running on him on another play that should have been a big play. Here we have Manley again. Runs it out,
and position on Lee.
And he stumbles as he makes the break. He ruins the timing of the whole pattern.
Detroit has called a timeout with 1:16 remaining in the half. And speaking of halftime, Brent Musburger, Herb Cross, and Harry Carson. New York won their game yesterday over Green Bay, 20-10. Harry had a good game, scores and highlights, and they'll talk about the Hail Mary passes. You've seen a few of those.
You know what brought alley-oop was the first guy, right?
Right.
Okay, and then you come
that
along
was
with
Owens. Huh?
Yeah, R.C. Owens, and had the alley-oop pass where he was taller than most of the defensive backs. They just used to throw it right up in the air, but he'd be one man down the field. Now the Hail Mary, they flank out 3 guys at the end of the half, into the ball game, just throw it up in the air and let them run into the end zone and try to do something with it. And some guys are really expert. I think you have to, in order to do it right, Jack, you have to have one great athlete that's running downfield among those 3, a guy that can get down there, tip the ball in the air and make the play.
Detroit inside the 20-yard line. They haven't been very effective. By the way, the Dallas Cowboys had one of their greatest moments with that Hail Mary pass. That'll be part of the halftime discussion. Lee goes to the left, Manley to the right. It is 3rd down and a long 3. And is he in? Yes, touchdown. Manley gets the touchdown, his 7th of the year. Really cute with the feet, too.
Just barely. The 2 Minnesota backs stood right there with the official, and they kept looking on the spot.
That makes it 7-6 with 1:09 left in the half. Minnesota, by the way, has 2 timeouts. Tough to cover this guy. And it kind of looks with Eddie Murray kicking. He is 16 out of 16. Now we'll go into the half tied unless the Vikings do something spectacular in the last minute. He knocks it through. 7-7 with 1:09 left in the half.
Let's take a look at that touchdown again. Long shows great patience here. He comes back and he waits for the play to develop.
And they didn't get to him either.
No, good protection, shows patience. Now he sees Manley, releases. Now watch how close he is to the back of the end zone. Right there. Did he get 2 feet in? The official's looking right at it. Great position by the official. When it was all over, Holt and Harris, the 2 defensive backs, come over to question the catch. Here's Long again. You're the safety man. You're looking in his eyes. He's looking for Manley. Sees it. There's Manley. Up in the air. Watch him look to see where he is. Puts his eyes down. There's a peek. Now, do you get them both in? 1. Oh, they don't like it here in Detroit, but look at the perfect position by the official.
They groaned a little bit. They'll take the touchdown, though, and we're tied 7-7. The official had a terrific look at it.
Yeah, that was a field judge, Bobby Skelton. Oh, he was right there, and you could just see him looking at it. He couldn't be in any better position.
Well, there wasn't anybody around Manley, was there?
Well, they were playing a zone, and that's what Long was waiting for, was Manley to come clear between the 2 guys who were Holt and Harris. And once he found the gap, because he had the time, like you pointed out, he could make the throw right into the opening.
Minnesota will take a shot with Nelson trying to return the kickoff. He is deepest. And Eddie Murray will do the kicking. Minnesota has 2 timeouts remaining and 1:09 on the clock. Detroit, by the way, will receive the second half kickoff. What a good kick that was. Unusual for Murray to knock it that deep. It'll come out to the 20-yard line. Nothing to it. There is a flag down, however. They're going to move it back to the 20 and then talk it over. There's the touchdown man, Pete Manley. Maybe we have a double foul here.
There is no foul. It will be 1st and 10 on the 20.
Well, it's all right with me. Is that all right with you?
No, I'm surprised they call it no foul because I saw the flag come out. It was way behind the play. You know, the ball was in the end zone. You don't see any action. And all of a sudden the flag comes out, and Gordon Wells, who threw it, the umpire, walks up and has a little discussion with the referee, and all of a sudden they decide not to do
Christmas. It's Christmas, man. So the ball is at the 20-yard line. Will McDonough, Jack Buck with you from the Silverdome, Pontiac, Michigan, in a tie game. Nelson and Rice in the backfield, and that's good out near the 30-yard line to Lewis, who came back for the ball. And it's a hurry-up offense for Minnesota. We're under a minute.
Anthony Carter has sort of disappeared in this first half, Jack. They went to him a couple of times. The last time they threw to him, he short-armed the ball, and so it looks like they've been looking for Leo Lewis.
Second and 1, and here coming back is Carter. You just talked about him. And he is out of bounds, and the clock is stopped with the ball at the 48, and Bruce McNorton was covering 23 yards. So you made that happen.
That's right. Now he comes down the field. They're going to try to zone him, sort of long and short. Watch him release off the line. He's going to give you a little move inside. There it is. Whoops, give him the look. Now he comes back outside, turn to the defender around. McNorton gets in position to make a good... Actually, the coverage wasn't that bad. It was a very good throw by Wilson.
Ball at the Detroit 49 with 40 seconds remaining. Vikings want to save one of their timeouts for a field goal try if need be. Jones, third wide receiver. Detroit stunting. Wilson on the move, drops it off. It's wide open to Anderson. He'll want to get out of bounds, and he does. Good nimbleness demonstrated by Wade Wilson. 22-yard pickup.
I think he's starting to heat up. You know, that was a nice play. Great play action. Took his time. Really developed the play well. You know, that's what he's done the last 2 drives to the Detroit defense. They had been very aggressive, really coming after him. Now it looks as though he slowed them down with his faking and his play action stuff.
And we have 31 seconds remaining in the half. The Vikings still have 2 timeouts left. I'm biting my tongue trying to keep from saying the Minnesota Twins. Out of the shotgun on first down. And it is caught. Caught by Nelson, and he held the ball at the 20, and he picked up about 7. Hit by Griffin. Timeout, Minnesota. 25 seconds remaining in the half. Vikings have 1 timeout left. Well, the Twins won the World Series. Maybe if these Vikings get into the playoff, they can go on and gather another title for the Twin Cities.
Well, 3 weeks ago, you would say this might be the surprise team in the entire National Football League this year, because 3 of their losses, and at the time they only had 4, came during the strike with their replacement players. They had the worst replacement team in the league. They did the poorest job of bringing in replacement players for the strike. They admit that. With their regulars at that time, before they played Chicago, they had lost only 1 game. Now, Jerry Burns, the coach, said they had the big game with Chicago on Sunday night. National television, everybody looking at it. They had a chance to win, and they lost. Chicago loses the next night. They lose in Green Bay. He thinks that game hurt both teams.
Second down and 2 here. Can't afford a sack. He's going to get a first down, and he's going to get out of bounds with 16 seconds remaining in the half. And Detroit came very close to bringing him down, but he escaped again.
He's a good quarterback, Jack. And last night when we talked to him, you know, the question came up, well, what if you start the rest of the year, you play well, and you get to next year and you're not the starter. They bring Tommy Kramer back. He said what he wants next year is the opportunity to be the first string quarterback.
Someplace.
Well, here preferably with the Vikings. I'd like the chance to win the job, but if they say no, Tommy's the quarterback, then I'd like to play someplace else. I'm ready to be the starting quarterback in the NFL for some team.
His running has upset the Lions here. The ball's at the 11, first down. And it is caught. And they're going to and a fumble, but the ball's dead. The ball's dead at the 5-yard line. Gustafson had it, dropped it. They blow it dead at the 5, and they stop the clock with 7 seconds left in the half. Gustafson caught it. 7-yard pickup. They have time for one more pass play, but they're going to bring the field goal unit on.
Let's take a look at it now. Here's Wilson dropping back, takes some time, looks to his left, look for his receiver, throws it out there. Does he catch it? You make the judgment. There's man, he has it, but they knocked the ball out of his hands. He's trying to change it. Now Jack Fetty, the line judge, closest to the play, blew the whistle. Okay? And that's why he's bringing the play back. He's saying, no, I blew the whistle before the fumble. This is where we're going to keep it.
Griffin was playing ring around the rosy with the ball around his foot. And now the referee, Dick Hantak, is explaining it to the Lions along the sideline. The play stands. The pass was complete to the 5 and then whistled dead right there. And Darrell Rogers is saying, you got it wrong, fellas. Meanwhile, Nelson, who has missed one today, will try to put the Vikings ahead with 7 seconds left here at the half.
Well, that's a key call because that was going to be at least, it could have been a 10-point swing. I think Detroit, even when they picked it up, still had the ball in bounds at the end. Could have just scooped it up and ran for a touchdown. There was nobody there.
The ball will be spotted by Scribner at the 13. It'll be a 23-yard try. Actually, they'll call it 22 by Chuck Nelson. He's been cold lately. He's had 11 out of 21.
After further review, the play stands as called. Forward progress stopped.
The forward progress was stopped. That's the rule, and they called the play dead.
But that's what the league does not want to happen. If you blow the whistle, there's not even a review. There's not supposed to be a review. Like Fetty did, he pointed, hey, I blew the whistle. There's no need to do any more because once I blow the whistle, it's all over.
Nelson looking for 3. Scribner gets it down. Vikings lead 10-7 with 3 seconds remaining in the half. The running of Wade Wilson has tipped the scales in favor of Minnesota here. Nothing more than that. And some good passes on that last drive.
What he has done is personally adjust to what Detroit was doing, okay? Once Detroit started backing off and covering everybody downfield, once he split the seams of the pass rush, it was there for him to run upfield or get around it and make some plays. So now they're going to have to adjust back to him in the second half. They're going to have to leave a linebacker or somebody around in case he does run out of the pocket to try to make a play on it.
There's some very interesting scores around the league from the early starting games, and Brent Musburger will bring you right up to date at halftime and have highlights from those games. Meanwhile, this will be a squib kick in all probability, and the clock won't start till the ball is touched. Herb Cross, Harry Carson will be with Brent. Scores and highlights. One of the greatest moments in Dallas Cowboy history will be highlighted with that Hail Mary pass. This has been a strange 30 minutes, hasn't it?
The ball being loose so many times, interceptions, fumbles, drop passes, misplays. Could have been a wild scoring first half. Instead, just 10-7 because people can't catch the ball.
Wade Wilson was hot on that drive.
5 for 5 for 68 yards. And again, made a big play with his running.
And now the ball will be kicked by Nelson. A little squib kick. Probably. 1, 2.
Oh.
3. Oh. There's a new fullback. The Lions have discovered a new fullback, Dan Salamua. He returned that kick to end the half. A flag is down. If it's against the offense, the half is over. against the defense, they'll have another play. They might have to get those players out of there. I hope they don't start getting undressed.
Look at the band ready to come out in the field. They must have some kind of punt, kick, and pass contest. They're all out in the field. It's going to be interesting. He has to call them back.
I'm sure that Brent Musburger will have some news about Bobby Hebert, the New Orleans quarterback. He has an injury, and Brent will take care of that information for you at the half. Well, they better call this one off because there isn't anybody to play. That's the end of the first half with the score. Minnesota 10, Detroit Lions 7.
Welcome back, New York, everybody. Along with Harry Carson of the New York Giants and Irv Cross, I'm Brent Musburger. Harry, it looks real easy in the warmth and comfort of the studio, doesn't it?
I like it here. It's better than being out there in that cold and rain.
It's a lot safer, too, big fella. Let's take you to the scoreboard right now. Here's the one you're watching, the Vikings in the driver's seat, but they had resistance. This could be a good second half. The Lions have played pretty well the last couple of weeks. 10-7 right now. Vikes with the lead. New Orleans and Cincinnati, the score is certainly a surprise. The Bengals have jumped all over the Saints. Hebert injured knee. Pick up the highlights here on this one.
Boomer Esiason rolling to his left, throws the ball up and is batted around in the crowd, but Eddie Brown comes down with it for a 10-yard pass reception and a score. You got to have a little luck sometimes, Brent, you know? Watch this guy, David Fulcher, number 33, delivers a blow here on this pass. Now, Fulcher ought to be a linebacker like Harry Carson. He's a defensive back, but he weighs 228 pounds. Hebert comes back, trying to get the ball upfield. On this play, Brent, he was hurt. Went out with a bad knee. Hasn't come back yet. We don't know how badly he's been injured, but Dave Wilson now is quarterbacking the Saints.
Irv, your thoughts about Wilson, who came in and led them to a touchdown?
He has a stronger arm than Hebert. The reason why Hebert is the starting quarterback for the Saints right now is he's a better overall field general, but Dave Wilson's an excellent passer.
Harry, the Giants played the Saints. Your feeling about that offensive unit?
Very much improved. They got some young guys, Hilliard, Reuben Mays. Those guys can really move the ball. They're playing now with a lot of confidence.
Okay, well, as you know, the AFC Central is up for grabs, and for the Oilers, it comes down to this one game. They've got to have it. They have held the Steelers to 2 field goals, and they've hit on the long play, moon to hill, 52 yards, and they lead 10-6 at the half. New England, Buffalo. The Patriots with Steve Grogan are playing a very intelligent football game. The Bills were driving for the tie. They coughed it up on a fumble. There's a bad wind, and the Bills have got their hands full. They're already in the second half of that game. Philadelphia and the Jets, full of excitement here over in the Meadowlands. Harry is scouting the Jets because, of course, the Giants play them next week. Irv?
The Eagles won the first quarter, but the Jets won the second quarter. The 5-yard run here from Roger Vick from 5 yards out. He goes in for a score. Randall Cunningham will move out of here this time and throw deep to Mike Quick. You know, he likes to be called Rocket Randall. That's why. A 45-yard touchdown pass.
Let's ask Harry about Cunningham. How would you evaluate him as a quarterback?
I would say right now he's one of the better quarterbacks in the league. With time, with more experience, he's going to be really awesome. The guy has a rocket for an arm. He can run. He can do just about everything.
Okay, now Seattle and Chicago, and this, of course, the swan song in the Windy City for one Walter Payton. They are tied at 7 at the half, and Payton 12 for 46 yards. And prior to the start of the game, they retired his number 34, and they had a brief ceremony at midfield.
When I began playing the game of football, I played it because I loved it and it was fun. And that's the same reason I'm playing now, because I love it and it's fun. I guess the hardest thing to do is to say goodbye to the ones you love. And those guys that are standing down there in the end zone are my love.
Did it better, did they? And we'll continue with the NFL Today on CBS after these messages from your local stations.
Minnesota will kick it off. You know what just flashed through my porous mind? An overtime tie. I can feel it here today. It's a Christmas tie for everybody.
Gee, I hope not. I hope not. But it could be. You know, you look at the first half here, Jack. Both teams have gained 202 yards, dead even. But the big stat, the turnover, none for Minnesota, 4 for Detroit. I think this second half is the biggest half that Minnesota is going to have this season, because the playoff is right on the line for them in this half. They don't want to go into that last game against Washington, needing a win, because I'll tell you why. If Chicago loses today and Washington needs a win to get the home field in that first playoff, they're going to go all out in Minnesota to get a win.
Woolfolk is one of the deep men, along with the rookie Gary Lee. Here's a kick from Nelson, and he shanked the ball, and it is taken on the dead run, and the play is out of bounds at the 22. Well, he got away with something that time. Even though Nelson almost missed the ball, the line of scrimmage is the 22 as Chuck Long goes back onto the field. And I think Will McDonough did great work in reading Joey Browner earlier when he hit Gary James with that pass that went for big yards.
Well, actually, he's only 6'12" on paper, but he was much better than that in the first half, because he had 4 pass plays that he had received as open. He threw the ball really properly, but they didn't make the adjustment. They didn't make the play for him. So he has the ability here, unless Minnesota really does something to deceive him on defense in the second half, to play a big second half, because I think he's comfortable now.
Without Keith Dorney on that front line, here's a give to Jones. And he is wrestled down near the 30-yard line. And a pickup of 8 as John Harris made that tackle. Apparently, I didn't see it specifically, but apparently Gary James threw a good block there for a 9-yard gain.
Well, he almost ran over Lomas Brown. Gary James was the lead blocker, and Lomas Brown was just sort of getting stood up, and James Jones just hit him in the back, drove him out of the way, and kept on going upfield.
Up front is Lomas Brown, Kevin Glover, Steve Mott the center, Joe Milenchek is the right guard, and Eric Harvey Salem is the right tackle. Second and 1. Good call. And the pass is incomplete to Gary James. Bad news from Cincinnati, where New Orleans is playing. Bobby Hebert might be out for the year.
If you're a New Orleans Saints fan, it's bad news. Hebert's played very well during this streak. He sustained a knee injury in the first half.
He got hurt.
Yeah, against Cincinnati. At halftime, they've looked at him. They don't know if he's going to come back in the second half. Could be out for the season. Has a strained knee. I really think when you're playing on the road, Jack, you have to wait until you get back home to New Orleans, have your own people look at him in the hospital, run all kinds of tests to see if it's just a sprained knee or it's the kind of knee that needs surgery.
Well, that incomplete pass puts Detroit at 3rd and 1, and what a surge that was. They had him stopped, but Jones kept going, and that's a first down run of 4 yards. They had him stopped.
And Jones is injured down in the field. Now, I wonder if he landed on the ball. Watch the surge. He has stopped. He's hit head on right here at the line of scrimmage. Watch this stick right there. Great leverage. Watch him push up the field. Keeps on driving the guy back. Doug Martin. But does he land on the ball? He's still down on the field normally when he gets down like that. Here's another angle. Watch him hit. Joey Browner tries to block. Gets underneath 79, Doug Martin. Keeps on driving him back. Now it's sandwiched. John Harris comes in. You get 3 guys on him in the pile.
There's a timeout as they tend to James Jones. James Jones is on the sideline. He had a pinched nerve earlier this year. This might have been a recurrence of that. And Tony Page, the former Jets running back, number 49, replaces him. It's a first down at the 35. There's Jones. We might see him before the day is over, back into the game. So Page is the up back and James the tailback. Rubik gives way to Cab, who's the tight end. Strong run by Gary James. Joey Browner wrestled him down. He had to bulldog him. James is going to be flirting with 100 yards. He picked up 14 there. He's gained 78.
Take a look at it from Joey Browner's perspective. There he is deep in your screen, the right-hand side of your screen. Looks for the play. Now he comes up to support the run. Here comes James through. Plants himself to make the hit. Wants to make sure, because he knows he's the last guy, that he can bring him down. He really bulldogs him down.
He was the last chance cafe, and he tackled him. First down at the 49. Manley in motion. The Vikings apparently offside. And James taken down for a loss on the play. Hold everything, says the referee, Dick Hantak. Chuck Long is playing referee. 1st and 5 coming up from the 46.
Offside. Defense, number 79, 5-yard penalty. Repeat the down. First down.
1st and 5. No penalties for Detroit, but the turnovers 4. 5th penalty against Minnesota. There is Doug Martin, the veteran defensive end. Gary James threatens to gain 100 yards here today. Long is changing the play. Page gets about 2 yards. Ran into Doug Martin. And help from Jesse Solomon, the linebacker.
You know, he's been very quiet here today, Jack. Chris Dolman.
That's
He's
right.
been their best, one of their best defensive players all year long. He's the guy that more or less set up on the defensive line. There he is, 56, usually a very active player. Well, Darryl Rogers told us yesterday that if Lomas Brown did start today, you would see a great battle going on right there. So we haven't mentioned Dolman that much. So Brown must be doing a heck of a job, even playing on a bad ankle.
2nd down and 3. And good faking by Long. High and away to Gary Lee and incomplete. And Long is slow in getting up. Isaac Holt was covering downfield, and Long took a blast.
Let's look at Dolman. There he is, second from the top of your screen, 56. There's Brown, takes him to the outside. Is Page waiting for him inside. They double team him, make sure they get him out of the play. All day long, the timing on Detroit's passing has been lousy. One word, lousy. Play was open, the ball was thrown, they're running poor routes. They have the plays, they're just not executing.
The blitz is on, they run against the blitz, and it is very close to a 1st down with Woolfolk running the ball. Looks like he's short about a foot or so. The fans immediately start to yell, "Let's go for it." They send Arnold on the field. Now, why do you do this, man? You have a record of 3 wins and 10 losses. It's 4th down and a foot at the 42-yard line, and you punt. You can't do that.
I agree with you, but when I got that mad a couple of weeks ago in the game, you said, "Why are you getting mad?" But I agree with you. I can't believe. Hey,
they're happy up in Minnesota, I tell you that.
Play to win.
But this might be a fake, of course. It is 4th down and about a foot. Rubick is the blocking fullback. Arnold kicks it away. Thank you, say the Vikings. Leo Lewis lets it go. And it is down inside the 5.
Ball was actually touched out around the 10, I think.
Well, this guy's a good kicker. He's a good kicker. So the ball was touched at the 11. Vikings go from there. That last punt was a head coach decision.
Well, maybe he knows he's going to be the coach next year. I think he's going to be back. I think maybe if he was fighting for his job, he would have said, "Let's go for it. Anything to get a win." But right now, I think he's comfortable that he's going to be back. Look at him. He's second-guessing himself right now. Next week, they might be playing for number 1 in the draft. They get down to Atlanta, 2 of the top 3 teams.
You're right. And Kansas City, of course, will be in that number 1 draft picture. They lost their 11th game yesterday to Denver. Vikings will try to punch it out. Toss the ball to Nelson. He was good for 5, and then thrown back in strong fashion by the rookie linebacker Dennis Gibson. Well, coming up next, special edition of CBS Sports Sunday, a look back at '87 in sports. Been a heck of a year. Giants in football winning the Super Bowl. Bobby Knight's Indiana team winning the championship. A shot by Larry Mize in the Masters. There's a lot to see on the show coming up next on CBS. Good run by Nelson. 2nd and 5. Anderson and Dozier are the running backs now. And very close to a 1st down on the run by DJ. It's either a 1st down or a 3rd and very short. This offensive line of Minnesota still features David Huffman in there and Greg Koch. Loudermilk the center, Tausch and Zimmerman. And it is a first down for the Vikings. Nelson bobbled the ball for a moment and came out for about 4 yards to the 25. We're in the third quarter. 8:50 remaining. Not much crowd noise to send your way. We do have scores to send your way. They're in the third quarter at Chicago, tied 7-7. And Houston at home grabs the lead over Houston after trailing early. Cincinnati comfortable in the third quarter by 14 over New Orleans. And New England, Buffalo just get on the board with a recovered fumble. And Philadelphia leads the Jets. 2nd and 6, and Wilson out into the flat. And Dozier is nailed. Boy, you could hear that hitting, couldn't you? Big whack by Raphael Cherry, number 45, 4-yard pickup. McNorton is slow in getting up the cornerback. There was some big hitting there.
Wilson coming back. He's just going to dump the ball off to Dozier. He's going to turn it upfield. Detroit starting to play off a little bit. They didn't do that earlier. Going to get a double hit here. His Cherry hits him first. Now McNorton gets it from his own guy coming across, getting in there late.
By the way, speaking of McNorton, he's down at the moment. They usually pick on him. Every team that the Lions play goes right after him on that right cornerback spot.
Well, the consensus around the league is if you play the Lions and you want to attack them, you go at their cornerbacks. And in order to protect their defensive backs, for example, they have 4 free agents in their defensive backfield. They're probably the only team in pro football that has that, okay? You attack their defensive back. Detroit knows this, and because of the weakness of their defensive back, they play the linebackers off the line of scrimmage. They play them deeper than they normally would.
We're at the Silverdome in Pontiac, and about 30,000 on hand. They sold 40,000 tickets. They could seat 80,000. Will McDonough and Jack Buck with you, and the Vikings are battling for their lives. And it's not easy, although they lead 10-7 with 8:12 left in the third quarter, and they are faced with 3rd and 2. A game for the Vikings next Saturday afternoon at home in the Metrodome at 3 o'clock. Meanwhile, Detroit finishes out at Atlanta. You want to go down and see that game?
That ought to be exciting. I hope you got it.
Thanks a lot. 3rd and 2. Have to connect on this one. A flag is down. Wilson gets first down yardage, but a flag is down. And it's probably holding against the Vikings. Wilson's done some good running today. Illegal block. That'll make it 3rd and long. We get word that Bruce McNorton has a bruised back and probably will return.
Illegal use of the hands. Offense. Number 63. Hands to the face. 10-yard penalty repeated.
The call against Kirk Loudermilk, the center. There's Jerry Burns still pacing, and there at Loudermilk. Out of OSU, 6'3", 269. He's had a fine year.
Probably the most underrated offensive player. That's what Jerry Burns said last night. He's played through injuries, he's played hurt, but he's done a fine job for him.
This is a dangerous play from your own territory. 3rd and 12. It is incomplete. He tried to get it downfield, and Nelson and Raphael Cherry came over and made a dive for it. So the Vikings will punt. Turn things over to their defense. 7:39 left in the third quarter. Scribner has been kicking beautifully this afternoon. This will be his 5th. And Manley is back. He's dangerous, standing at his 40. Detroit should be in good shape when they get the ball. 10-man front for Detroit. Let's see how many of them come after the kicker. Not a whoop. And a line drive fair catch called for by Manley. I think at times we underestimate the degree of difficulty in catching those punts. That was a 38-yard kick. The Lions will be at their own 43. Lions will put the ball in play from their own 43-yard line with 7.5 left in this third quarter, which has been scoreless. Manley to the right, Gary Lee to the left. Tony Page is in instead of James Jones. James, the other running back. Big draw, good faking. And the screen was covered, so he threw it away. Browner was right on top of the tight end. Rem Musburger has more news about that New Orleans game. We'll turn it over to him.
Well, Jack, here's the situation now. Hebert out with a knee injury and Wilson doing a job. He chucks a touchdown pass here to Jones. Now, the Saints have recovered a fumble, and they could be going in for the tying touchdown even as we speak. Elsewhere, Inge recovers a fumble, goes 30-some yards to set up a touchdown. 14-7 Seahawks. Back to Jack.
And a 2nd and 10 call for Long. Really been impressed by his faking here today. He safety valves it. Is the tackle going to be made? It is. A sure-handed tackle was made by Carl Lee on the corner for a 2-yard loss on Tony Page. They're really sitting on it, aren't they, Will?
Well, I think they missed James Jones in there. That pass was just a safety valve. That was not Long's primary pass. He looked upfield. The coverage was there. Rather than taking a sack, he just threw it out there. And Page is not the kind of guy that can make a play by himself. He's just mostly a blocker and a short yardage receiver, not a guy that's going to get a first down for him.
Extra back is in there. Gugamos. Wayman Henderson is the 6th defensive back. 3rd down and 12. They sure can't get after Long. Not much pressure, really. Again, it's light pressure. Pass is caught, but that's 4th down now. They dropped it off to Pete Manley, who came back, and Carl Lee made another tackle. 4-yard gain. Manley's always moving.
Well, he's always moving, but the Detroit Lions pass offense isn't always moving. He's had no timing at all today. Long's back there now, looking around. Manley comes back. I don't understand that he gets less than 10 yards here, which you need for the first down. He takes himself out of first down territory. You don't do that.
Here comes a punt by Arnold to Leo Lewis. Rubeck is calling out the blocking assignments. Light rush by the Vikes. Oh, a beautiful kick. Lewis should let it go. He made a mistake. Ooh. That ball would have sailed right into the end zone. A 50-yard punt. A 2-yard return, and Lewis should have let it go.
Well, the rule of thumb in the league is you never catch a punt inside your own 10-yard line. Figure if you let it hit the ground, it's going to roll into the end zone and you get out to the 20. But we have seen more of that this year than I think ever before. Guys back there catching the punt inside their own 10-yard line. It's just a lack of discipline.
And the Vikings are going to be way back at their 7-yard line. Next Saturday, the Washington Redskins travel to Minnesota, and that's going to be an important game, no matter how the Vikings do here today. It'll commence at 3:30 Eastern time, and then Sunday it's a doubleheader day on CBS. Detroit at Atlanta, Green Bay at New Orleans, Tampa Bay at Indianapolis, or St. Louis at Dallas will be the game that you will see. In the second half will be the Bears playing back out on the coast again, this time against the Raiders. The injured player, Neil Gugamos, now, it's not Gugamos, it's Ricky Smith of Detroit. We can go over the importance of this game on the part of the Vikings. Simply stated, if they win 2, they're in the playoffs.
Yeah, but if they lose today, they're in big trouble. Even if they win today, they're in a little bit of trouble. Because Washington, if Chicago loses, can win and get the home games. And they're going to want that coming out to Minnesota. Now, here's the wild card scramble. They control their own destiny now at 7-6, but if they lose a game, they can be in trouble and lose that last spot to either the Rams or St. Louis.
It figures that the Cardinals will beat Tampa Bay and Dallas. Of course, it might not turn out that way. So if Minnesota stumbles once, St. Louis is in and the Vikings are out.
Yeah, because even if they tie with the Vikings, St. Louis will go because they have a better record in the conference than the Vikings would have. So it's imperative for the Vikings to win here today, and then unless St. Louis loses and the Rams lose, to win again at home next week.
There's a whistle before the handoff to Anderson. That usually indicates a procedure call.
False start. Offense, number 65.
Let's put it back to 3.5 yards away from the goal line.
Still first down.
Look at there. New Orleans has scored to tie that game at 24 all after being way behind in that contest, which is very important for New Orleans. Dalton Hilliard ran one in. The score at one time was 24-3. Now it's 24 all.
Well, we spoke earlier about a comfortable lead. There has been no lead this year that's been comfortable for Cincinnati. That's why Weiss is in trouble as the coach. They have blown more close games than any team in the league in the fourth quarter after having leads this year.
There was a dangerous toss to Nelson back into the end zone. He came out near the 7. He got what they lost on the penalty, and it's going to be 3rd down 10 coming up. Lockett made the tackle on Darren Nelson. Well, if the Lions can stop him one more time, they'll get the ball back in good position. This game is really even Steven.
Nobody expected this, I don't think, not even the Lions, that they could play this even with Minnesota. They thought they could win by making some big plays. The opposite has happened. They haven't really made big plays, and they're still hanging tough in this game.
It's 2nd down. Crossing to Leo Lewis. He's out near the 14. It'll be 3rd down and about 4. They're playing it very, very safe. They can't afford to be picked off down here. Gibson, the linebacker, number 98, made the tackle. That Gibson is a pleasant surprise for Detroit. He was the number 8 draft pick. He's been starting. He's out of Iowa State. 6'2", 241, and they really like him here.
Well, the Lions feel that if there was an all-rookie team defensively, that he'd have to be one of the linebackers. Like we said earlier, he leads this team in tackles.
3rd and 3. Galloway is in as an extra defensive back for Detroit. Into heavy traffic and almost picked off by James Griffin. He knew what was coming. You know, sometimes you try to intercept the pass, it's thrown so hard, it's just as difficult as it is to catch it.
Griffin anticipates this play, waits for the tight end. He's going to look for Jordan, 83. See him coming up before the ball is ever thrown. He's looking for that play. Usually you want to go to your tight end in a short yardage situation. Coming there across the middle just to ensure that you're going to get a first down.
That's that typical matchup of the strong safety against the tight end. And here's a kick by Scribner. Number 6. Detroit stays away. Another good kick. Drives Manley back to the 34. Tries the sideline. He's beyond the 40-yard line. A good starting spot for Chuck Long. Chris Martin downfield, covering after a 51-yard punt, a 9-yard return. Detroit has it again. In addition to these 3 gents, there are 27,690 here at the stadium. 27,000 plus, 12,000 plus no-shows. They sold 40,000 tickets. They could seat 80,000.
The guy with the glasses was looking for Bob Uecker. Said, where is that guy?
Detroit at their own 43. Tony Page still in their lineup, and Jones is still out. Manley in motion. And the give to Gary James. No gain. These two clubs are playing between the 20-yard lines. Field position. Average start. Minnesota at their own 28. Detroit at their own 31.
Minnesota has made the bigger plays, of course, all on defense, getting the 4 turnovers. But you know, the Lions have had such great opportunities to take advantage of situations when Minnesota has broken down on defense, and it's happened 4 or 5 times. They really only made the most of it once, is when he threw the 50-yard pass to Gary James to set up their lone touchdown. If this was me, I'd be going at Minnesota. There's nothing to lose. I'd be back throwing at them every down.
Here comes a pass and a rush and a screen and a big hit. What a good play by Isaac Holt, the cornerback. I think we called the wrong play, Chuck Long says. It's going to be 3rd and long. I want to mention Stafford Mays. He was in on the previous tackle.
Well, Holt reads this one all the way. You know, earlier in the game, they were successful on a screen pass. They got 15 or 16 yards. This is the 4th time they've tried it. Now the Vikings are just sitting. Watch the reaction. The back is right up there. He reads it right away. Holt goes in, no catch, knocks the ball out. But Detroit's got to go after him. You know, the only time they've won games this year, they've won 3 games. They had the lead going into the 4th period. They're 0-10 when they're behind going into the 4th period.
3rd and 11. Bland is the third wide receiver for Detroit. And the pass zips right through the hands of Butch Woolfolk. Woolfolk had it slide right through there. You know, Long could have much better figures than he has right now.
His receivers just aren't with it today. I don't care who he puts in there or where they run. You know, they're just not focusing in on the ball.
Well, I hope nobody scores in this third quarter.
Here's Bland, 80. He's going to run deep. Manley's going to take it underneath. They throw to Woolfolk, who you couldn't see in your picture. Should have caught the ball, but didn't.
Here's another punt coming up by Arnold to Leo Lewis. This is the 4th punt of the day for Detroit. I love scoreless quarters. I hope we have one there. Whoa, almost blocked. No flag. And a Detroit bounce. That's going to help Arnold's average, which is already terrific. And Isaac Holt came within an eyelash of blocking that 38-yard punt. Well, Minnesota will start at their 20. Seattle and Chicago slugging it out at Soldier Field in the third quarter. Tied 14-all. Philadelphia by 11 in the third quarter at the New York Jets.
Might be goodbye Jets.
A lot of late games today, including the Cardinals at Tampa Bay, which affects Minnesota, and the Rams playing the Monday night game at home against Dallas, and that affects Minnesota. Wilson will try to move him 80 yards. Pretty good fake by Wilson. Uh-oh. It's a good thing he didn't catch it. The linebacker, Kofer, was right on top of Nelson. This game has disintegrated a bit.
Minnesota talked about being aggressive on offense. They come out, they throw 3 passes the first 3 plays. Now they've been conservative the whole ball game since then, except when Wilson's made the big plays when he's got in trouble. Look, he's only thrown the ball 24 times. You know, that's not really being aggressive when you're not running that well.
And for those of you who weren't with us at the outset, Wilson was the starter with Tommy Kramer and Rich Gannon on the sideline. Alfred Anderson is in the lineup. And in the pass pattern. Whoops. Here comes Wilson. He gets a first down out to the 35. No flags. Chased out by McNorton.
Okay, you're going to look at this from ground level. Watch the replay. 93 you see in the left of your pitcher. He's going to come outside. Watch him. Jerry Ball. Nobody picks up. Instead of trying to, he wants to kill Wilson. He doesn't. Doesn't get a piece from this. Leaves Wilson open. There's no receivers on this side of the field. Detroit's back there playing man-to-man. And before they can recover, there's McNorton, and take him out of bounds. He has a first down.
Wilson has rushed 4 times for 41 yards. Here's a first down pass. And underneath to Jordan for 9. By the way, when Chicago tied Seattle 14-14 in the third quarter, it was on a 3-yard run by Walter Payton, and that's nice to see.
That's appropriate because it's his last home game, I believe, regular season.
Correct.
Anyhow.
It is his last home regular season game, and so Sweet Walter gets into the end zone.
Well, I'm glad he's going out because he really hasn't played well this year. I think this is about the last. This is the way it should be. A lot of these guys, because the money is so big nowadays, Jack, you have to force them out. But I'm glad he's going out gracefully.
Second down and 1 for the Vikings with Lewis in motion and a delay for a first down. And Dozier picks up a first down out to the 48. That tackle made by Lockett and Gibson. Earlier, the inside linebacker Shelton Robinson of Detroit left with an injury. He hasn't come back. Saw Tommy Kramer there. There's Jerry Burns, his team hanging on with a scant 3-point lead. There's Rich Gannon, whom they like very much. You know him, don't you?
Very quick. He was drafted in New England last year. We'll get back to that later. And they traded him out here before the season started.
First down pass. Going all the way for Carter. Pushing, and a penalty. And that's appropriate. McNorton kept bumping. Will McDonough doesn't think so, but I do.
Well, I can't call interference on that because he can't catch the ball. You're supposed to be able to catch the ball, and that's what they're talking about.
I think he might have gotten to the ball. But the officials are going to talk about what you just mentioned. Yeah. Well, could he have caught it?
I don't buy this. I think it's incidental contact. Let's see him. You're going to come off. See him come off the line of scrimmage. Man-to-man coverage. See, there's not
number 29. First down.
Backpedaling. He's going to turn and run. This is when Wilson throws the ball in the air right here. Now Carter is going to come to the outside.
See, he shuts him off. There's once.
No, he has every right to run with him. He has as much right as anything else. Now where they probably catch him is sticking his left arm out. That's right. But sticking his left arm out.
I will throw in with you. There was very, very light with the left arm.
That's what incidental contact in my book. But it wasn't, flagrant. Both guys are out there. The guy made a great play. He had great position on the pass.
30 seconds left in the quarter. First down and goal at the 9. Dozier spins down near the 5-yard line. And that might be the final play of the third quarter, a 4-yard pickup.
We might come back to look at that call right there.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. We'll do that after we come back from the intermission. Dozier gets up limping a little bit. It'll be second and goal from the 5, and that will mark the end of the third quarter. I love to watch that clock. That's the end of the third quarter with a score. Vikings 10, Lions 7. And I'll pause for a word from your local station. We start the fourth quarter. I got my wish, a scoreless third quarter. I love it.
Faster game. It's the key right here. That call, not that I'm saying it was wrong, even though I think it was personally, could turn this game around and really open up for Minnesota if they punch it in here.
Second and goal from the 5 with Anderson and Dozier. Anderson looked like he could have made a cut, but he got down to about 1.5 yards away from the goal line. Let's go back and look at that play.
Well, let's take a look at it. And remembering that as long as the defensive back here, McNaughton, 29, is looking for the ball, see, he's turned around, he has the right to put his arms out. Why? To get his arms in position to make the interception. And that's what the defensive backs have done in recent years. And Everson Wall's the first guy from Dallas I've ever seen do this, Jack. They put that arm out so the receiver can't get his arm up. But that's perfectly legal as long as you're looking at the ball, and he was.
It is third and goal from the 2. And a rollout and a touchdown by Wilson. Well, it's fitting that he gets it on the ground. And a very good block as they knock Lockett out of the play. He made the hit finally, but too late.
And I want to watch the end of this play when he goes in the end zone. Ground level, he's going to come out. He's going to stick it in. Turns around. Nice fake to Dozier. Now he's going to roll out. He has the option once he gets outside to do it. Now he tucks it in. Now watch, keep the play going. Watch, get a shot from 50. That should be a penalty. He's across the goal line. Now some of the Vikings come over and went after Shelton Robinson when the play was over. Say, hey, what are you doing? The guy's in the end zone. He's relaxed, and then you come over and drill him.
It was a late hit. 14-15 left in this game, and Nelson with the extra point try. He's missed only one this year. 10-point lead for the Vikings with 14-15 left. A running touchdown by Wilson, his second of the year. Here's a little summary with 14-15 left in the game. Detroit 4 turnovers, Minnesota none. Time of possession, Minnesota the edge. Total yards, Minnesota slight edge, and it brings about a score 17-7. And Nelson will be kicking it off. You think it's all right to do this, huh?
No, not to do that, just to put your arm out. See?
Oh, that, yeah.
Yeah, that's what he did. He looked and he turned and he put his arm out. Because he's got a right to have his arms out to try to intercept the ball. You can't catch it, Jack, without putting your arms up.
Yeah, well, I thought just before that, though. Let's watch that last touchdown by Wade Wilson.
Excellent play fake. Dozier does a good job. Tight end goes across in motion, trying to make them rotate. They don't go for it. Guard pulls, sticks it in there. Now, once you take down the linebacker outside, Wilson's going to tuck it away. He knows he can outrun everybody. Now, Lockett's going to come in and stick him. There's no use. There's no need for that. He's 4 or 5 yards in the end zone. Once you cross the plane of the goal line, technically the play's all over. But the official didn't do anything with it.
Wilson has rushed 5 times, 43 yards. He's the leading rusher for the Vikings. This is Woolfolk from the goal line. There's a little lane there, but he's knocked out of bounds shy of the 30-yard line. And the tackle was made by Howard, David Howard. Once again, the importance of this game. The Vikings 7-6. The Rams play tomorrow night. The Cardinals play later this afternoon. Minnesota simply has to win this game and next Saturday, it seems to me.
What it does is they can still control their own destiny. The Rams in St. Louis cannot. They can win their final games, but if Minnesota keeps on winning and gets 9 wins, they are guaranteed they're in the playoffs. So it's still in their hands. You don't want it to get out of your own hands.
Manley comes left along with Gary Lee. Page is in the backfield with James. Detroit has lost James Jones probably for the rest of the game. Here's a fake and a pass to the sideline, and a good catch by Gary Lee. First down out at the 37. Oh, Manley at the 37. He is a good receiver. Came into the game with 50 catches.
Well, I'm glad they're throwing on first down. Here comes Manley out of the backfield. Holt goes deep. Now Manley breaks it out wide open. The ball should be there sooner. You know, that ball should have been on time, so he didn't have to run out of bounds. With the guy playing that far off you, if you get the ball on time, you can make the catch and go upfield.
First down at the 37. Manley comes left. 2 tight end offense with Rubik and Cab. James the tailback. Running hard out to the 40-yard line, and he got 4. Seattle opening it up against Chicago in Soldier Field, leading by 10. Seattle trying to win their 9th game of the year. And Chicago, here is Houston hanging on to their lead. If Chicago loses, that's really going to turn the Washington team on in their game next Saturday at Minnesota.
That's right. That's going to be a big game because they're going to say, hey, we beat Minnesota. We're getting those home games, at least for the division playoff game that could get us to the NFC final.
Here's a pass play after the fake to James. That's shy of a first down, out of bounds at the 43. 3-yard pickup.
Jack, what's happening to Chicago is they're giving up a ton of points, and that's not the Chicago Bears you've known for the last 2.5 years. But when they came back off the strike, they had 3 games in a row where they gave up more than 20 points to teams that weren't great teams, like Tampa Bay and Kansas City, who are now last in the league and second and last in the league in scoring. And now you see Seattle, not usually a good team away from home, go in there and score 24 points in Soldier Field.
Yeah, you have to point your finger at that Bear defense. Even in that game Monday night against San Francisco, they shouldn't have been kicked around like that. 2nd and 7. Long's going to do some running of his own. Out of bounds, first down at the 45 of the Vikings. Long doesn't run a lot or very well. Prior to today, 18 rushes for 2.5 yards. Ran for 12 yards that time.
Not a speed guy, Jack. He's not. I think he's going to be more like Marino, maybe. Try to hang in the pocket. He's not going to be like Elway. I talked to Monty Clark last night, the former coach of the Lions here, and he said he's a big guy who doesn't have great speed. And Clark feels as Long goes along in his career, gets nicked a few times, a little knee injury, he's going to be even slower than he is now. So he's going to have to be a guy that's a pocket passer rather than a guy that runs around and makes plays.
This is the first down pass. And they finally got to him from behind. He was getting a little too comfortable back there. That's the first sack, and Doug Martin gets it. And that's his 10th sack of the year. Number 10 for Doug Martin.
Well, they've been around Long all day, and he's been fortunate, and his offensive line has done a good job. He's dropping straight back. But here's Martin coming, see, out of the right side of your pitcher, comes in from behind. Long never sees him, comes from the blind side, but he just simply took too much time. The offensive line did its job there. Long took too much time to get rid of the ball because there was great coverage downfield by the Viking secondary.
Yeah, well, as I said, he was getting too comfortable back there because they never did get to him, and finally they make it 2nd and 15. It's a blitz. They pick it up. The pass is caught. That's a first down to Manley again. They picked up the blitz.
Yep, and that's the best throw that Chuck Long has made today.
19 yards.
Excellent throw. The blitz was coming. He read it. Page stepped up and took 47 Brown. I watch 49 Page, picks him up. He throws the ball before Manley makes the turn. Now Manley's turning. The ball is there. Excellent play.
12 minutes left in
Here's
the
him
game.
ground level. There's 47 Brown are going through. Luckily, Page picks him up. Watch the throw. See, Manley still hadn't looked. He threw it on time. The best timing pattern they've had today. Makes the catch. Gets the first down.
At the 30-yard line. So the Lions have something going. First down pass again. And the man fell down on defense, and Lee caught the ball. Carl Lee fell down. Gary Lee caught the ball. Another first down. 16 yards. They marked the ball at the Minnesota 15. Minnesota defense looks either slow or tired or both at the moment. The ball is at the 15. First down. And a delay to James.
Yes!
Am I right? They either look tired
What are you talking about,
or
Minnesota?
slow or both
Well,
at the Minnesota defense.
I said yes, just in appreciation of the great move he made. You know, that looked like it was going to be a 4-yard run, and then all of a sudden he planted his left foot, broke to the right, burst up the middle, and had everybody in the Minnesota secondary sort of standing still so they couldn't knock him back. It was just a great individual effort once he could buy the line of scrimmage.
James has carried 15 times, 96 yards, 1 touchdown. So he'll reach the 100 mark. And Eddie Murray with the extra point try. We have a 3-point lead for the Vikings with 11.5 minutes left in the game. And here's the touchdown again.
There's a touchdown to end a great drive by Detroit. They haven't been great in the fourth period this year. Lead, watch the move. Watch him plant and cut right there. See him? Watch the plant. Cuts. Beats everybody on himself. Everybody's trying to reach and grab a guy that big, that fast. You better be in front of him.
Kevin Glover, the left guard, number 53, made a very, very fine block. Nelson rushes to it. Took it on the 8-yard line. Quickly to the 20. 30. And a good starting spot for the Vikings. Tackled downfield by Paul Butcher, a fine special teams player of Detroit. Here's that last touchdown.
Watch the 2 men in your circle. You get Kevin Glover on the line of scrimmage, 53, your left guard. Tony Page, the fullback, 49. Watch the block. Takes his man down the line of scrimmage. Follow 49. Look at that block. Tony Page. Now, James senses it. Breaks left. Cuts back to his right. Outruns everybody. He's too strong to take down there, Jack. You got to be in front of a runner like him at that point in the field to try to take him down and keep him out of the end zone.
The ball at the Viking 32. They have not had a 100-yard rusher against Minnesota all year, but James is knocking at the door with 96. Kurt Warner had gained 94 yards in a previous game. And shaken up is Ellerson, the running back, former Green Bay player.
It shows you how much James means to this team, Jack. He came back last week to play against Tampa, and that's the best running game I think they had all year. They had 190 yards rushing, and he again was over 90 yards. So he is the guy that can make runs. See, James Jones, the fullback, is sort of like Gerald Riggs. You know, I mean, he's a tackle guy. He might burst for 8 yards once in a while, but he's a 4-yard guy. Okay, Gary James right here, 32. He's a playmaker, like he has been today. He can break it from any point in the field, make plays on his own. He just made a touchdown out of a 4-yard run.
I want to change the subject. I don't want to kick a dead dog around, but the pass interference call, which helped Minnesota get that touchdown, which finds them ahead now, more and more as you hear people talk up here in the press box, might have been a wrong call. First down Vikings, leading by only 3. Screen pass, covered well by Detroit. And with Michael Kofer, he was up to spoil the screen on a loss of 4. Christmas Day, and Merry Christmas, by the way, Detroit Pistons, they play here in the Silverdome, will be at New York. They have the best record in the NBA. You'll see them live at 12 o'clock Eastern Time. And following pro basketball, the John Hancock Sun Bowl, West Virginia against Oklahoma State at 2:30 Eastern to add to your Christmas enjoyment. Both of those events, Christmas Day on CBS. Second and 14. Rice and Nelson in the backfield. Vikings can't sit on it. Wilson was able to get away from Koper, but finally had to run out of bounds. That touchdown run by James woke up their entire team.
Did. Now they're flying around the field like they did in most of the first half. They're coming out. That time they threw in 6 defensive backs. You know, try to play a zone down field, but Koper, 55, who eventually chased Wilson out of bounds and who is their designated pass rusher, didn't let him get away that time.
I could run faster than Wilson if Koper was chasing me. I'll tell you that, man. He is some dude. He's got the biggest pair of hands I've ever seen. 3rd and 12. Broken up by McNorton, who doesn't always break them up, but he was in the right spot that time. Intended for Hassan Jones, and it's 4th down, and the Vikings will have to punt. This will be their 7th of the day. You know, even if the Vikings get into the playoffs, you wonder how well they're going to proceed, right?
Well, the way they've played lately, I'm like Jerry Burns. I think that Bears loss took a lot out of them. You know, they had a great opportunity to win the game and let it get away from them.
Scribner has been thumping them, and Manley takes it on the 28. Flags are down. Flags are down, and Manley is going to go in, but flags are down. A 43-yard punt, a 72-yard return, but it's going to come back. Bring it on back. That would have put Detroit on top. They're still celebrating because they don't know. Pete, I got bad news for you. There's a clipping call. Don't tell me, he said. Ricky Smith.
Illegal block. On the return, number 41, 10-yard penalty, 1st down.
He's the one who did it to Guggemos, number 41 on 41.
41 on both sides, and Guggemos got hurt on the play. Here's Manley now, catches the ball over his shoulder, reverses. Now look for the 41s, because this is where the play is supposed to happen, the action right here in front of. There's Guggemos. There's the push from behind on Guggemos. Now, I wouldn't call it a clip, but I would call it blocking from behind above the waist.
And that was pretty late. And he didn't change the guy's direction at all.
Yeah, and the bad thing was Manley really didn't need it.
That's
you know,
correct.
Guggemos was on the outside, and he couldn't have made the play. It was a useless penalty, and it cost him a touchdown.
Cost them a touchdown, and the ball instead is at the 19. Now this time James runs into Glover, who threw such a good block for him earlier, as he was stood up by the Minnesota defense, including Keith Millard. Millard, number 75, is back into the lineup. He has been hurting with a calf injury, and those things never get well, man. They go on and on. The only way you can get it well is to rest, but they have Millard back in there, and he was stout on that play, and a loss of 4.
Jerry Burns says he's their emotional leader on defense. He's the guy that yells and screams on the field. He says, but the only way you can make the other players listen to you is if you play well yourself.
Detroit trailing by 3. They're going to put it up. Wide open to the tight end, Cab, and an immediate tackle at the 20. He's going to make it 3rd down and 9. Jesse Solomon, the linebacker, showed his ability to stay with the tight end. We have scores, and Seattle lengthening things against the Bears. Seattle trying to get into the playoffs with a record of 9-5. Denver is 9-4-1. Houston by 1 point over Pittsburgh. A lot of good action. New Orleans tied in the 4th quarter at Cincinnati after trailing 24-3. And New England ahead at Buffalo. 3rd down and 9. Guggemos is back in there. On defense, long down the middle, and that is a 1st down throw. And that was the rookie Gary Lee. And Long really strung one out for a 20-yard gain.
This is what Chuck Long is supposed to be like. This is his reputation in college at Iowa. He can make the big plays. Nice drop. Steps up this time, gets a lot on the ball, sees Lee downfield, breaks away from the defender. It was a great throw, put it in the right position. Kept it away to the inside of the field, Jack, to get away from the 2 defenders that had him covered to the outside.
And Guggemos made the tackle at the 40, 1st down. 8 minutes left. Clock running. These wide receivers are raising heck against Minnesota today. Another pass.
Ooh, what a hit.
That's incomplete as the pressure was on top of him. Doug Martin was right on top of Long. He got walloped as he threw it.
He did. He's going back. He's looking again. Fakes over here, but he wants to go across the other side of the field. Now Martin comes in, got his man. Close enough. Close enough. That's not roughing the passer because he was within one step. He was right in there, and he didn't try to kill him. He just hit him.
He did not spear him, nor did he go to the head. 7:45 left in the game.
Now, even though Long has been on the ground, only sacked, I think, once or twice today. Once. He's been on the ground a good 15 times. He's just getting the ball away before he's getting hit.
He had completed 6 in a row before that one. And it's 2nd and 10. And it is held for a reception and a first down by Mark Nichols. And that's the first one that he has caught. What a great throw and catch, 17 yards.
Mark Nichols shows courage here because he knows he's going to get it in the zone defense. Watch again. Long steps up nicely. Again gets a lot in the ball. Watch, go up and get it. A little bit behind him. He knows he's going to take the hit, but he pulls the ball in. John Harris, a tough guy, can really stick you, so he knows when he makes the turn. He felt where Harris was, and he got himself ready to hold on to the ball.
First down at the Detroit 43. Gary James, and he is wrestled down. This time by Tim Newton. Chicago has scored again, and it was Walter Payton with his 2nd touchdown run. This was a 5-yard run, and now the Bears are within 6 in the 4th quarter with 12 minutes left. Philadelphia by 18 over the Jets. Scott Studwell is covered with blood as he plays that middle linebacker spot. 2nd and 10. To the sideline. And before Henderson could get there, Manley caught another one. 14 yards, first down.
Well, Long is hot. You know, he had tough luck, like we said, in the first half. Now he's coming back there. He's been terrific on these last 2 drives.
Trailing by 3, the Lions are on the move. And they have another first down. You remember, they called the touchdown back and put the ball down at the Detroit 19. That's where this drive started. After they took a punt. Here is a delay to Page. And Page goes to the 25-yard line. And Studwell, number 55, tackled him. Studwell, an 11-year veteran. He's been mixing it up, and you see his arms torn up from this AstroTurf. See if we can pick up some of the blood on the uniform. Yes, sir. And it ain't his. Here's our first final of the day. New England over Buffalo. 2nd and 6. And dropped. Dropped out of the backfield by Gary James. That New England loss gives them a record of 6, or the Buffalo loss makes them 7-7. New England is 7-7. Miami could become 7-7. Indianapolis could be 7-7.
Well, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen, Jack. I told you today before the game, New England had beaten them 10 times in a row, and I couldn't see why Buffalo was the favorite, okay? Now, New England goes down to Miami the last game of the year, and they've beaten Miami in Miami the last 2 years.
3rd and 6 here. Oh, another interception by Minnesota. Carl Lee gets his 3rd of the year. And that's the 5th turnover by Detroit. A fumble and 4 interceptions.
Lee just plays this beautifully, and it looks like a lack of communication with the receiver by Long. Bad thing, Long looks at him all the way, but look how Lee anticipated. It's not even close. In fact, if he had taken that in cleanly, Jack, he had a chance to take it all the way back for a touchdown, but he bobbled the ball and was lucky he got possession of it before he went out of bounds. This is a big break for Minnesota. Minnesota looked like they were ready to fade and be out of here.
They're tired, man. They're pooped.
I don't know what it is. You know, they said last year they were in a similar situation. Couldn't get it done in the last 2 games. Had a tough loss to Houston.
Anderson and Nelson. Fake to Nelson. A pitch to Anderson. A missed tackle and a good game. Alfred Anderson with a good run. One of the Detroiters ran right by that, and that's an 8-yard pickup. 5:15, clock running. We're in the 4th quarter. Turnovers, 5-0.
Minnesota should feel lucky it's still this close. You take out all those Detroit missed opportunities, all those turnovers, you know, Detroit would really be in control of this game. Now we're getting down to 5 minutes, and Minnesota still has a shot to hang on and win.
Vikings lead by 3, but they still have to move the ball. Lewis in motion and a toss to the tailback. A flag comes down, and Dozier dives for first down yardage. It might be holding against the Vikings. Yep. That stops the clock with 4:42 remaining, and Jerry Burns says, what else? What else?
Holding. Offense, number 72, 10-yard penalty. Repeat the down. 2nd down.
That call was against David Huffman, the left guard.
He was the guy. Darryl Rogers was really on him yesterday when we talked to Darryl Rogers. He said Huffman holds better and more often than any other offensive lineman in the league. And he says he does it so beautifully because he never gets caught that much.
2nd down and 12 for Wade Wilson. Running again. Staying in play, and he has a first down. Where would they be without him today? A 13-yard pickup as we go from Detroit to New York to Brent Musburger.
All right, Jack and Will, another wacky turn in the AFC East. New England storms Jim Kelly, their 5th sack of the day as time runs out. Indianapolis now can win the AFC East by winning their last 2 games. Meanwhile, Chicago storming back. 2 touchdowns for Walter Payton on the day. Let's go back to Jack.
So the Bears are back in stride. Thank you, Brent. The ball's at the 30 here. First down, Minnesota, and the clock running. Each team has 3 timeouts as we approach the close of this one. It's Dozier and Anderson in the backfield with Wilson. They'd like to stay on the ground and get some yards. Here's a reverse. Leo Lewis comes for about 3 or 4, and they try to steal the ball from little Leo, and Jimmy Williams made the tackle. 4-yard pickup. Jimmy Williams tried to pull the ball away from. Look how little Leo looks.
You know what's unusual about this game? 2 guys that on opposite sides on defense that you maybe talk about Pro Bowl kind of players would be Chris Dolman from Minnesota and Jimmy Williams from the Lions. And I think we've had 1 call on each one today.
Yeah,
they've been invisible for one reason or another. Maybe they're being double teamed or whatever. Maybe teams are running away from them, but they haven't really played a big role in this ball game.
Williams, a strong side linebacker. 2nd down and 6. Toss to Dozier. And that's very close to a first down. And now the clock is murdering the Lions, who started the day with a record of 3-10. James Griffin made that tackle, and it is a first down out to the 41.
Got Detroit taking a timeout here, Jack, to stop the clock.
Okay, so Detroit has 2 timeouts remaining, and we have 2:26 left in this game. The Lions had to expend a timeout. They have 2 left, 2:26 remaining in the game. The Vikings want to move the ball. They have first down at their own 41. Wade Wilson made a big difference in this game with his running.
Well, leading rusher for Minnesota, but 3 of those, Jack, got first downs. 2 of them were critical plays in both of the Vikings scoring drives. So when he's had to, when he's been flushed out of the pocket, he's made 3 runs of 10 yards or more, all for first downs that kept drives alive.
And his passing, 16 out of 26, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. Here's a first down call here. And Nelson blows in there and comes out to the 45 for a about a 5-yard pickup as he neared the 46, and another timeout is called. Detroit, they have one more remaining. New Orleans has come back to take a lead on a Morton Anderson field goal with 7 minutes left in that game.
And this is just what San Francisco did not want to happen. They did not want to have to win their last 2 games. They especially didn't want to have to play the Rams the last game of the regular season, needing to win both or else surrender the best record in the conference to New Orleans, which can now go home. I think they play Green Bay next week, beat Green Bay, and if San Francisco loses either one of its last 2 games, New Orleans has the home games in the playoffs.
You're right. They do play Green Bay. They were trailing 24-3. Bobby Hebert was injured. Dave Wilson came in, and now they lead by 3 with 7 minutes left. And the Bears, with Peyton scoring twice, are within 6 in that one. Seattle on top. And Seattle staying very much in the picture. If they win, they'll be 9-5. And only a half game behind Denver.
Well, and put them at least in great shape to get the wild card. That was the significance of them trying to upset the Bears in Chicago, getting in position for the wild card at least, and giving them still a chance to win the division.
Second and a long 5 for the Vikings. Nelson out near the 49. It'll be 3rd and 2. Now Detroit uses another timeout, and they have none left. They'll get another at the 2-minute warning. Well, all Minnesota has to do now is get a first down on this 3rd down play, 3rd and 2, and apparently they'll walk away with a 3-point victory.
Well, people are saying, well, why are they calling all of their timeouts right now when they're not even down to the 2-minute warning? First of all, including the 2-minute warning, it gives you all 4 timeouts that you can possibly have this late in the game. Secondly, they do not want to get in a situation where Minnesota just keeps running it down. You get down to 1 minute, and then you finally stop them. You don't have any time to do anything yourself. Here, if you stop them right now on 3rd and short, whatever it is, you're going to get the ball back. You have the 2-minute warning, and you have 2 minutes to do something. Like other teams like to do it the other way. Wait till they get under 2 minutes and then start using their timeouts. But when they do, when you get the ball back, Jack, you really don't have time to mount a drive.
So Bob Schnelker has to come up with a play here on 3rd and 2 from their own 49. Minnesota leading 17-14. When we're through here, we send it back to the NFL today with scores and highlights, and there's a lot to talk about.
That's what hurts Minnesota a little bit. They don't really have that big back like a Riggins or somebody that moves that pile. Their backs are smaller and not really guys that knock you over backwards in short yardage situations.
Anderson's a big back. He gets outside. And he is out of bounds at the 24. Anderson popped outside for a 27-yard pickup, and that, to all intents, is going to be the game with 2:04 left.
And no timeouts besides a 2-minute warning. A little pitch by Wilson. Everybody now, Darren Nelson's the lead blocker. Everybody's caught inside. They figure they're going to run tackle to tackle. Look at Nelson, the little guy, keeping him inside, pins him in. One player left, and he makes the stop. Gets Anderson out of bounds, but really right now, Raphael Cherry saved it from being a touchdown. And if Minnesota just minds the ball, and they've done that all day, not one turnover, that's why they're winning this game, Jack. They've minded the ball and haven't given it up.
Another first down will win it for the Vikings. Ball at the 24, Anderson the back. And to the 20. Sometimes you get a lot of yardage in a spot like this because the defense is going after the ball. He got 4 to the 20. 2 minutes left. Vikings lead by 3. 2 minutes left for the Vikings in this critical game at Detroit in the Silverdome, Pontiac, Michigan. 27,000 plus watching it. Here's the score. 17-14 in favor of the Vikings. A lot of good running by Wade Wilson, the quarterback. Meanwhile, at Cincinnati, New Orleans, with 6 minutes left in the first half, was trailing 24-3. Now look, with 6 minutes left in the game, New Orleans leads by 10.
I'll tell you, Jack, if they get those home games in the Dome, they're going to be tough to beat in the playoffs. 2nd
and 6, and Anderson keeps the legs going and gets down to the 16-yard line. No way for Detroit to stop the clock. We've gone by the 2-minute warning. They've used up all 3 of their timeouts.
Would you go with Wade Wilson again next week, even if Tommy Kramer's all right?
Well, yeah, I think against Washington, shucks, I don't know. I don't know if we'd be able to run against Washington.
I think Wilson's done an outstanding job here today. You know, they protected the ball. He hasn't thrown the ball into trouble. He ran for big plays when they needed to happen.
Minnesota wants the first down here on 3rd and 2 to ice it. And Anderson diving, and it looks like he's got a first down, and that'll be the game. And a 3-point win because they'll just keep the clock going, snap the ball, run it down. And Minnesota, which had lost 2 in a row, will be back on the victory path. That's a winner for them, folks. Well, love him or hate him, Gary Hart is back in the race. He's also on 60 Minutes tonight on CBS. And then you'll watch Murder, She Wrote, followed by the CBS Sunday Night Movie. Christmas Comes to Willow Creek. John Schneider and Tom Wopat. So a lot of good viewing tonight. There's Tommy Kramer, missed this entire game with a pinched nerve in his neck. Wilson will just snap the ball. 17-14, our final score here. And the 8th victory was hard to come by for the Vikings. Finally got it.
But it was key. I think emotionally, this was a big win for them because they talked in their meeting during the week about last year. They lost the last 2 games. The 15th game of the year, they lost in Houston when they thought they were going to win. They lost in the playoffs. Now they pull it out here to win.
I don't want to throw cold water on it, but that interference call was critical to their victory, and the turnover really murdered Detroit.
Well, Detroit self-destructed with the turnovers, okay, with the interference call, with the run back for a touchdown on the punt, which was a blocked illegal play that didn't need to be made. They took themselves right out of this. Might be the best game they've played all year, but then they self-destructed and allowed Minnesota the chance to come back in and win.
Come on, Jerry Burns, give us a smile before the day is over. Heck, you won the game. Post-game show coming up with Brent Musburger and Herb Cross, and scores and highlights and plenty to talk about. For Will McDonough, Jack Buck, so long from the Silverdome in Pontiac, Michigan. Merry Christmas. The final score, 17-14, Minnesota. You've been watching CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League.
Musburger. Now, welcome back, everybody. I'm joined by the coach, Dick Vermeil. Let me give you a kind of a quick overview, especially Viking fans right now, because there is a way that they can wrap up the other wild card. With this win, if St. Louis loses in Tampa Bay, then the Vikings would be in and they would be playing either the Saints or the 49ers in the wild card game. The last time I checked the monitor, the Buccaneers and Vinny Testaverde were down inside the 5-yard line. So that's a score we will keep you up to date on. But I want to ask Dick Vermeil about this Minnesota team. They kind of looked sluggish the last couple of weeks. They had a tough time against Chicago. What's your overall impressions of the Vikings?
Well, I'd like to see them be in the playoffs because I really believe they're a playoff football team. The strike just annihilated their season. And losing all 3, they were not prepared for the strike. They didn't think there was going to be a strike. There was a strike. They lost all 3. To get in the playoffs proves that they're definitely a playoff team.
Dick, what's the drop-off from Kramer to Wilson as far as the quarterback position is concerned?
Different style of quarterbacks. Kramer is this, he can take the broken play and do something great with it. Scramble around. Wilson is the more disciplined guy, throws the ball probably stronger downfield.
Okay, we also get late word that the Bears have a chance to pull one out on Seattle. But let's take everybody through the scores right now. In Chicago, in Soldier Field, the main storyline is the fact that Walter Payton has scored twice in his final appearance in Soldier Field. It is 27-21. Payton overall has rushed for 79 yards, but the Bears, inside of, I believe, 7 minutes, are on the drive right now. It's 27-21. Pittsburgh and Houston. Houston's season came down to this one, and they're turning in a good performance against the Steelers, 24-16. So the Steelers and Cleveland appear headed toward that confrontation in the AFC Central, and now the Oilers are back in that picture if they can hold on. The big comeback of the day so far, the Saints against the Bengals. The Bengals led it 24-3, but Cincinnati has found all sorts of ways to lose games in the second half this year. New England and Buffalo, a stunner in Buffalo, 13-7. The Patriots with the win, 5 sacks of quarterback Jim Kelly in that game. Philadelphia and the Jets still going, but the Eagles with a big-time performance, and the Jets now, again under Joe Walton, the month of December, they are in full retreat, trailing 38-20. St. Louis and Tampa Bay, here's the one, and the Buccaneers have scored moments ago, and of course Viking fans again, if the Bucs can hold on, and Vinny Testaverde popping a 1-yard touchdown pass, and what a great grab there in the back of the end zone, and it is 7-0. And instant replay, I believe, has entered into the picture right now. They ruled it a touchdown. The official that you just saw ruled it incomplete. It was overruled. They said touchdown. They add the extra point, and the Bucs lead the Cardinals 7-0. So a developing story, and we'll keep you up to date there. Now, Cleveland and the Raiders are underway. This is a big one for the Browns now. They can move ahead of the Steelers by a full game. They are scoreless in the first. And with Buffalo losing, if the Colts can beat the Chargers and win next week in their final game, and the Chargers have just gone ahead on an Anderson touchdown, and it is 6-0 pending the extra point, so the Colts may lose their advantage. That's how wild things are in the AFC East. Atlanta and San Francisco, and they are scoreless in the first quarter. I'm going to come back with Dick Vermeil and also quarterback Wade Wilson of the Vikings when we continue in just a moment. A twist in Chicago. The Bears can't score, and the Seahawks are on the move now. Inside of 4 minutes left, they're inside the 15-yard line, leading 27-21. But the man of the hour from Minnesota, quarterback Wade Wilson. And let's send you back to Jack Buck and Will McDonough. Jack?
Thank you, Brent. The one thing we must emphasize here is that Minnesota is still not in the playoffs, which you heard Brent say earlier that St. Louis has fallen behind at Tampa Bay. 17-14 was our final score. Wade Wilson had some good figures, ran 8 times, 55 yards, a touchdown, 16 out of 26, and no turnovers, Will.
Well, that was a big thing for Minnesota today, Jack. You know, Detroit turned the ball over 5 times, had another touchdown call back on a penalty, and made these big miscues all day long at the wrong time. Minnesota did not do that. They didn't turn the ball over once, and when you get a 17-14 game, that's the difference.
Wade Wilson is our guest. Wade, nice going today. You walked 3 men in the first inning, but came up with a good game.
Yeah, I think I was pretty excited about the game, and I realized the critical nature of the game and might have been trying to throw it a little bit hard, but settled down in the second half, and we got the win, and that's the main thing for the team right now.
Wade, it looked as though Detroit was more aggressive on defense, particularly in the first half, than you anticipated when we talked to you yesterday.
I think, they didn't have anything to lose as far as the season goes, and they were really coming after us pretty good, and I think we might have been playing a little tentative and trying not to make a mistake instead of really going and being aggressive ourselves. So kind of hurt us, but we bounced back.
When we talked to you last night, you said the players had a meeting in Minnesota, thought they had to be more physical, more involved. What do you look forward now when you go to play Washington next week in Minnesota in a game that really means everything to you right now?
Well, I think we match up pretty well with Washington. We played them last year, and probably the best game we played all year, and we ended up losing in overtime, but I think we rolled up close to 500 yards of offense. So I think we get them in our home park against, if it's a do-or-die situation for us, I think we'll be ready for them.
Wade Wilson, congratulations. The big thing is you started and you won it. Nice going.
Thanks a lot.
And Merry Christmas to all you folks. For Will McDonough, and back to Brent Musburger in New York.
Merry Christmas to you, Jack, and Will, too, and we'll see you a little bit later. Dick, we've got an update on New Orleans. The Saints have just popped in another touchdown. What a remarkable comeback. Again, they were down 24-3. They have scored 41 points. Now, here is the run moments ago, and Jordan takes it on into the end zone. And, Dick, you were down there with Coach Jim Mora. Your observations overall, how far can the Saints roll?
Well, without a dominating team, like there have been the last 2 years in the NFC, I'd say the Saints have as good a chance as anybody going to the Super Bowl. Thursday's practice, Jim Mora was not really excited about it. He thought they were sloppy, they lacked a little concentration, and he was concerned about making this trip.
Well, and justifiably so, because it took them 1/2 to get their act together.
And he really got after him.
Oh, how would you hate to be Sam Weiss, the way they've lost games in the second half?
I've experienced the same thing, and it's a rotten feeling.
Yeah,
they've experienced it too many times in one season.
I sure have. And we'll continue with our post-game show on CBS in just a moment. Well, a big win now for the Houston Oilers. They are closing out over the Pittsburgh Steelers. Their season came down to this. And, of course, it can be a 3-way tie if the Cleveland Browns cannot handle the Raiders. And right now the Raiders must do it this afternoon in that game without Bo Jackson. They've kicked a field goal. They lead the Browns by 3. Hobby got a little tough. Bo's on the inactive list with an injured ankle. And, Dick Vermeil, I know you have watched Bo Jackson. You've seen him play a little baseball and videotape highlights. What would you do?
Well, I think if I were coaching, I'd love to have him on my side, really. I think he can do both. A gifted athlete like that, it just, of course, doubles his income or more than doubles it playing out there in the Raiderland. I'm excited about it. I don't think a guy should be held to one sport.
Yeah, I guess you can make up your own mind, right?
Darn
It's like
right.
trying to tell somebody to retire. Make up your own
If
mind.
he could be in my backfield, I'd look like a much smarter coach.
Yeah, exactly.
Let him go swing the bat and say hum baby in the offseason. Heck with it.
Let's show you some highlights from some action this afternoon. And of course, those of you in the Twin Cities, 17-14. The Vikings can wrap it up if the Bucks hold on. And here is Wade Wilson rolling right in this sequence, and Wade will keep it, and he goes in. And as Dick Vermeil says, the Vikings like Wade Wilson as a quarterback, and it's nice to have two of them as they approach the playoffs. The Lions have played pretty well the last couple of weeks, even though they come up with a loser this afternoon. Now, Seattle and Chicago, 34-21. The Seahawks punch in another one, and so they lead the Bears. Dick, your thoughts about the Chicago Bears as we approach the playoffs?
Well, they've been so banged up. If they get everybody healthy and they get McMahon back, then you've got to go with them. You really have to go with them. Even without the home field advantage, you'd have to go with the Bears.
I guess we got to congratulate Jimmy the Greek. He called that one in Chicago.
You'll never live it down, will you?
No, I won't, but that's all right. Now New Orleans and Cincinnati, and the Saints 41-24, big in the second half. Watch here as we get a touchdown. Dave Wilson stepping up. He replaced Hebert, and he hit Jones at the start of the third quarter. And Hebert, we hope that injury is not serious. They'll examine that right knee. It was twisted in the first half, and he was knocked out of the game. New England and Buffalo now, and this a bit of a surprise. 13-7, it was the Patriot defense. They stormed Jim Kelly. They sacked him 5 times. And watch Reggie Dupard.
36
to the left,
yards. 36-yard touchdown run. People don't realize how tough it is to make a run longer than 20 yards, let alone 36 yards.
Yards, tough for some in that business.
Bet.
Now, Philadelphia and the New York Jets, they are winding down over in the Meadowlands. Rainy weather conditions over there. And Randall Cunningham, what a rifle for an arm he's got, Dick.
He lays it to the right guy, Mike Quick. You know, people are now saying, is Quick as good as Rice, Jerry Rice in San Francisco, or is Rice better than Quick? What a pair.
Okay. Well, now I'm going to run this audience quickly through the remaining scores. Then we've got another audience joining us because I know you're critically interested in that St. Louis-Tampa Bay score. And as we look at that scoreboard, it was still 7-0 right now. Tampa Bay with a lead in that game over St. Louis and trying to hold on. Cleveland and the Raiders, of course, and in that game, you know the Raiders have kicked an early field goal and are ahead. Indianapolis and San Diego is ahead of Indianapolis in that one by 6 points, 6-0 the score there. Atlanta and San Francisco are just underway on the West Coast. Now we're going to lay out here for just a couple of moments and welcome the New Orleans Saints audience. All right, welcome those of you who watched that great comeback on the part of the New Orleans Saints. I'm Brent Musburger along with Dick Vermeil. And Dick, you and I have been talking to the Minnesota Viking audience. And New Orleans, it really took them a half. What did you see with the team when you were down there on Thursday in New Orleans?
Watched the whole practice on Thursday, Brent, and I don't think the coaches were really pleased with the concentration. It was a little sloppy. A lot of coaching going on. Every assistant coach had each player's attention, getting on them, trying to convince them that they were playing the kind of team, if they didn't play well, could beat them. And Cincinnati is that kind of team. But they came back after falling behind, went ahead, and, you know, they were on 24-3 as we all watched, and did a super job.
Okay, now, the Saints will play the Green Bay Packers, and if they win that, and even if San Francisco wins today, they can still win a division championship if Los Angeles goes into San Francisco, and the Rams are a hot team. So we might not be talking wild card. We might be talking a division champion.
Brent, can you imagine having home field advantage in the playoffs in New Orleans?
I can't imagine a playoff.
The city couldn't handle it.
All right. And we'll continue with our post-game show on CBS in just a moment.